What is up, everybody? Hello, hello, hello. Want to say another big, huge thank you even to Kyle, AA0Z, for coming out and showing us the ways, updating us on what is going on with Node-RED. I think it is a fantastic system, and I think it's only going to become more and more powerful as time goes on, with more radios that come out, more devices that are going to be network aware or just USB able that you can connect it directly into a Pi. Oh, it's going to be good time. Good time to be a ham, as we always say. Best time to be a ham. But the reason you're here is the after chat, of course. This is after the Node-RED talk, although we're going to take questions for Kyle right in the beginning here, right? We want to use his time wisely. But this is generally our, hour or a couple, usually 2 to 3 hours, that we get here on the internet, go live and take your questions live. That's our goal. Ham radio questions, that's what we're doing. We're out here trying to help people out, get them on the air. That's the point of all of this. So we will be taking your questions, but we had a special guest on, so we're going to focus on Kyle first. And we will be playing with the MMX Nomad from PrepCom. I'll be on 40 meters CW. I may just be calling CQ while we're playing around, and occasionally we'll cut back to the Nomad to see what's going on. But yeah, interesting radio. I'll have my thoughts in a formal, proper upload, but I am trying to get a lot of that done and having a bit of difficulties with it, to be honest. I know how it works, at least I think I do. But yeah, getting the contacts back into me has been a challenge. But all right, let's say hi to our Discord friends. This whole thing runs on Discord. Link is in the video description. If you'd like to join us, go ahead and start that process now, and then you'll be able to talk to us. At least you'll be able to chat. If you scroll down to #live-stream, that's the text chat, and then 2 down from that is live-stream /afterchat, and you might hear voices like this when you click on it.
Behind me, but they were shooting something off. Oh, is Josh here?
In
the story.
Hello, everybody. How you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
Excellent. I'm good. Make sure, if you're joining us too, for everybody who's watching us right now, and you join us on the Discord, make sure you set yourself up a mic and a speaker. Headphones are preferred for almost everybody, so keep that in mind. Yeah, okay. How is Node-RED for everybody? You got questions on Node-RED? I know Kyle's already here. Looks like we got another of a bunch of our other friends as well. So any questions for Kyle to kind of kick things off? Or did we already answer all the questions while I was offline?
We stumped him. I have a question.
Uh-oh, Gray Man's got a question.
So, Kyle, one of the things that you showed was the lightning map, and that's one of the things that I'm interested in doing that. But I'm working on building my own lightning detector instead of using like the Tempest weather station or using an external source. How hard is it to pull that data in from essentially another Raspberry Pi?
Well, it all depends on what mode of transport. Like, do you know, how do you get the lightning data into your Raspberry Pi? Do you have a sensor that's going to set it on your house, and it's going to monitor lightning around your house, and then it puts it into a program? Is that probably how it's done?
Yeah, so I have a device that picks up the lightning, and basically it's about 500 hertz, I guess, is where the frequency is, and so it triggers. It's a Python script that runs, so it essentially triggers, and I'm sure that will do something that can be captured.
Right. So I would probably look, if that's got some type of XML data or API or Mosquito, or how, does that program have some type of hook that you can take your Node-RED flow, and it can literally be a web page. Like, if the program has got a web page that it displays on a map where those lightning strikes are, you might be even able to scrape that web page and grab that information through, like I hit F12 in Chrome, and it gives you all of the the HTML code, and then that HTML parser in Node-RED basically you can drill down to whatever you need to scrape and then scrape it off of a web page. But I would probably, I mean, I'd look to see if that program, that Python script, or whatever comes with the system that's detecting the lightning, what hooks does it have? And you can pull that data in real time via Node-RED and just pull it, once a second or once every 3 seconds through an inject node,
Okay. Yeah. So I'm essentially want to do the same thing that you're doing. So if it detects lightning within 20 miles of the house or whatever, 15 miles of the house, start powering down the station and doing it cleanly, and instead of us having some kind of a power issue here.
Yeah. That Tempest device that we have and Josh showed, we've had issues with that doing false positives on lightning. And it has a lightning detector in it. And I've gone into just turning on the station, and I'll breeze through that screen on Node-RED, and it'll say, 4 lightning strikes in the last, day. And I'm like, we haven't had any storms in the last day.
Oh.
So there is, I don't know how that Tempest weather station figures out where the lightning is. Maybe it's like, that 500 hertz, or, I have no idea what the physics behind that is, but there's something a little bit awry, I think, with something that you run locally, because we've had some false positives. We just pull it from that lightning maps, and there's free data that you can download. Now, it's drinking through a fire hose, because you're subscribing to that flow, or not flow, but data. So every single lightning strike in the world is coming into your Raspberry Pi, and then you have to filter it for the location that you want to filter for. So there's a lot of data that comes in. It's not like you can tell that program, whenever I say program, the web page that's sending all of that GPS data, I just want Missouri, or I just want California or Indiana. It doesn't work like that. You subscribe to all of it, and then you have to parse it on your Raspberry Pi. So, it could overload your Raspberry Pi if you have a lot of flows going on at the same time, or you have a lot of inject nodes that are injecting different things into different flows. We've seen that. There is a max where that Pi, gets hot, and it just kind of bogs down. So we've replaced all of our Pis with Pi 5s, and we run SSDs on them.
Oh, interesting. SSDs, really? You found that helps out a lot? Instead of the SD cards, you run off the SD or the SSD?
Yep. We've built a couple of Pis, and we've got NVMe drives in them, and we bought the hats, and built the 5s, and they seem to be robust. And we never had any failures with the SD cards and the Pi 4s, but we knew that they were coming.
Right. Yeah. I got to do something really quick. Sorry to interject here, but Adam, K6ARK, is actually, I think, on trail right now, or at camp. Adam, can you talk? Where are you at? You want to catch people up if you're listening? Okay, I'll fill in some of the details, but it is my understanding that Adam and there he is.
Oh, you couldn't get on?
I had to get to the mute button. We are up on Villager Peak, it's a pretty remote desert summit in Anza Borrego Desert State Park, and we did Rabbit Peak today, which is a SOTA summit that only has one previous activation from some guy with a call sign KJ6HOT, which may have been me about 9 years ago. So it's to get to Rabbit Peak, it's about 20 miles round trip with 8,000 feet of gain and loss. So we did about 8,000 feet of climbing today and about 15 miles, and we're camping on Villager Peak. And then we're going to hike out in the morning. We may try to bag a bonus peak along the way. So, yeah, it's been a heck of a day.
So the other thing to point out for everybody listening, it's also a dry hike, right, Adam?
Oh yeah. So my pack was about 27.5 pounds, and Mark, I'm with KD7 DTS SOTA Plus guy, and his pack was what, 31 pounds? Yeah, 31 pounds, and I had just under 2 gallons of water, so I had 16 pounds of the 27 pounds was just water, and I'm still dehydrated.
Are you guys doing radio now?
Yeah, we
7.06.
Yeah, we certainly can. Mark just stopped transmitting, but he was running the KH1 with the whip and my little 3D printed loading coil. So if there's any requests for frequencies, do you want to, or I could pull out the bigger wire if you want to try to work me on 40.
Well, no, if you're on 706, I'll just tell everybody that that's where you're at right now. If you're calling, they are on a summit, so you got SOTA.
Yeah, 7064, 7.064 is where Mark's going to be calling. KD7 DTS is the call sign there. So, and we can certainly hand the radio back and forth and do some double down on it.
All right, I'm gonna get the old Nomad tuned up on you and see if I can hear you. Likely can't hear you, but it'd be great if people made contacts with you. So okay, we'll let you monitor.
Sounds good. So yeah, Mark is transmitting now. If you can't hear me, let me know, and I'll fire up the mountain topper with the full end-fed half wave. And I worked some stations in LA already this evening, so it's 40 seems pretty good.
And that was 7.064, correct?
Yeah, 7064.
Okay, there you go, everybody. Get tuned up on that. And yes, it is CW. Everybody asking. They have tiny little CW radios. That's what they're packing with.
Yeah, and it's there's some photos in the live stream chat if you scroll up a little bit. And
I'm showing them right now.
Sweet. And then the other thing I was gonna say was I forgot.
Somebody just started.
Oh, there's Riddy over him now. We might have to shift, but I'll post in the live. If you guys are interested, keep an eye on the live stream chat, and we'll post the frequencies there if we shift.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Very good. Excellent. Thanks. Thanks for the live trail report. Very good. All right. We'll go back to what's the continued conversations with Kyle and Node Red. Anybody want to jump in there with your questions about what's good with Node Red, or you have a question? Go for it. Kyle and I kind of expected this. We're like, we're going to inundate everybody with Node Red talk, and they're going to be like, I don't know what I am doing. I don't know what's going on right now.
This is what happened last time.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
It's like, what questions do you have? And everyone's just like,
I got a question. When you guys are referring to Node Red, is this Node.js by chance they're referring to, or a different language, or?
It's Node.js.
Mm-hmm. It's JavaScript, actually.
Is that a compiled language by chance? I was trying to learn how to use it for certain projects. Are you able to write something in Python by chance and use this to interpret and go out to another language, or is this solely just only used by itself?
Somebody else is going to have to answer that. I do not know.
Okay, I'll give it a shot. So Node.js is specifically meant for scripting. It's a Java-like language, and it uses Java syntax for scripting. If you want to compile something or get something like that, just go straight to Java. It's the same thing. But you're not going to get the drag and drop and all the neat little things like that. You're going to have to become a programmer if you want to run Java.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Well, I think what he's looking for, first of all, this is like a no-code / low-code environment. Yeah. It's actually built on Node.js, so it's more of a it's really kind of a scripting automation language. So it's not going to be similar to your other compiled languages. This is really a solution in and of itself.
Yeah, the reason I'm asking is I'm working on ATAC right now, Android Tactical Awareness Kit, running a TAC server, and just trying to figure out integration, some of the plugins that folks have abandoned projects on, like the Hammer plugin. There's an APRS plugin, and just trying to see, like, okay, I don't know much about Python or these other languages, just reading books and scratching my head, just trying to see if I was to go about rebuilding this open source protocol and doing a few modern updates to it, what would be a wise way to go about it.
So funny enough, it looks like there's quite a few TAC packages that are on Node-RED. So you might actually be able to interface with a radio that's capable of doing TAC or something along those lines.
Yeah,
You'd have to look into it more.
Yeah, I spent like 6 hours today building a programming cable with the fellow ham for a it was just going out on a the U229 connector, and I had the oscope hooked up to the TRS plug and seeing that the hammer plugin was sending data out, but the radio wasn't keying, and I was just like hurting my head on this. But they were saying hammer's broken. You need like a digirig or some sort of interface to it because you're not going to be able to key up the circuit for certain radios. It's just weird, just the roadblocks that certain plugins hit, and then it's the graveyard on GitHub, and you're going around asking people what have they done to get it working, and it just sometimes you get an answer, sometimes you don't.
Yeah, you're somewhat on your own with some of this stuff, or you're now past 90% of the users, and then that means it's, there's only you and a couple other guys, and if you can't find them, there's not going to be a lot of ways for you to find what you're looking for. So it kind of depends on the problem, but I can see where you're coming from. Well, good luck.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna hop back to it. 73 y'all, God bless you, and thank you for letting me talk your ear off for about 50 seconds.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. For everybody that's asking what's the frequency, I believe Kenneth said it was 7.067 is where KD7DTS is. He's on a SOTA summit right now. I am also monitoring that frequency, but we're trying to see if we can make a contact with him. But we'll get to the PrepCom. Don't worry, the Nomad. I want to see if it works. I want to see if we can make contact with anybody with it. So if you start calling, I'll see it on 7067, assuming your code is halfway decent. So we'll keep an eye out. If that little CW in starts lighting up, then we'll know to start copying. But all right. Questions for Kyle. Anybody else out there on the Discord side that would like to ask a question of Kyle? By the way, everybody on the YouTube and wherever you're watching this, if you put in question somewhere in your comment, I'll see it, or at Ham Radio Crash Course with your question. Node-RED is really, really cool. So, yeah, go ahead and drop your questions.
I have a non-Node-RED question for Kyle that no one here besides me and Kyle will care about.
Well, go for it. If we're not knocking the doors down on Node-RED stuff, we might as well take any callers at this point. For Kyle.
West County Mall, Arden, is that still happening? Has it already happened and I was asleep at the wheel? What's happening there?
Yeah, I think the Arden nodes, they put a couple up on the 8.5 repeater site, and I think that one of them blew down, and I think they're trying to get the antennas that have that 180 degree sweep. They're trying to procure one of the poles that's on the other side of the building, and I don't think that they've gotten to that point yet. But I think one of them is pointing like from the 8.5 site, which is right beside Stacy Park. It's like pointing to the southeast, kind of through, like it goes through Mobap Hospital, and has coverage that on that side, but on the other sides of the building, I think one of them blew down, and they're trying to get the other ones up. So I think that's the latest status.
Right on. So it's happening eventually, or
yes.
I might be able to hit Mobap if they can get that side of the building. Okay, cool. Because I'd love to get that going with real radio and ditch the tunnel.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
Ditch the tunnel.
Still working on it.
And at one point, I'd offered to go up and help at West County, but since then, I've had a unfortunate incident with the security there, so I'm avoiding actually being on the property for the time being.
Right on.
Fair enough.
I didn't shoplift. They had a gun sniffing dog, and we had a chat, and then we left.
Okay.
Sounds like there's a story there.
Sounds like a
that was
drugstore.
it. Went to see the Easter Bunny, got escorted out by security with an autistic kid, who's scared of dogs. So it was fun.
Wow.
Good times.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
For everybody listening, it sounds like, is there a RIDI event going on, Kyle, that you're not participating in? What's going on right now? There's RIDI all over the band.
No. Let me see what. Is this European RIDI weekend?
Can you tell all the other 5 RIDI users to cut it out?
Oh, what's going on? I don't know what's.
There's RIDI all up in the CW space right now. Aren't they supposed to go north of 74?
No,
I know last
I'm
week
just kidding. I don't care.
during Winter Field Day, there was a Bart G sprint.
What is that?
Oh, you guys are gonna like this.
Yeah.
It's the Mexico RIDI contest.
Oh, dude, it's gonna be. So I'm gonna be inundated with signals. There's, I've gotta get a lot. Let's actually take a look at it. Let me see. Let me go back here.
Yeah.
And
Mexican RIDI International Contest is going on.
let's see. That'll calm down a sec. Oh yeah. I can see it. Oh wait, no, I'm way too high. Hold on. There we go. That is some RIDI. That is some RIDI going on. Wow. Yes, indeed. Let's see. So, okay, yeah. So we're right about. It looks like 7067 is where Mark. Oh, they've moved. Okay, they're at 70515. 70515. To show you guys what you do here. So I'm using the arrow keys to change the frequency on this thing, and you can watch the screen there.
Hey, I have a Node-RED question, and apparently I share it with Wade. Is there a benefit in running a individual Pi with Node-RED versus having it inside a Home Assistant?
You can run Node-RED in Home Assistant because I know the only reason why I know that is I just got into Home Assistant and I literally loaded it on a Pi here at the house last week, and I'm playing around with it and these devices called Shelly devices and going down that rabbit hole. But it is the same Node-RED. You can run it, within Home Assistant. The only thing that I would probably watch out for is the flow that Josh loaded with that Raspberry Pi monitor. I would probably load that and watch your resources on your Pi, because running, Home Assistant and Node-RED, and if you got other things going on, if you're running Windows on the Pi, you could probably, unless it's a Pi 5, you could overload those resources real quick.
Yeah, I'm running it on a Lenovo P520 with a Skylake chip with Proxmox on it, so it's okay.
Oh, you'll be fine. But it's the same Node-RED, but I don't know how you reload Node-RED within Home Assistant. I would just make sure that you got the latest and greatest, because I don't know if Home Assistant, that module, loads the latest version of Node-RED. That's the only thing I would make sure that you're running.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Yeah, mega cluster. You need a mega cluster. 32 Pi zeros. Well, I'm not seeing the CW from our friends out on the mountain, but I hope you're all hearing them. Has anybody got a copy on Mark or Adam?
I don't hear them here.
Okay. We are monitoring, though. 70515 right now. 7.0515.
I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum from the Raspberry Pi Node-RED setup. I've got mine running on a Dell R720.
Yeah, that's a little bit overkill, but sure, it'll do it.
I mean, along with a bunch of other stuff, though, so...
It sounds like they might move again or possibly put up an NFET half wave to get out a little bit more, because right now they're just on the KX1, so it may change. Metal Halo, did they move? Are you reporting a new frequency, or are you just throwing that out there? Okay, questions for Kyle. No, we got him. Go for it. Let's take those questions live. I think we might have gotten to the one for the home assistant.
Yeah. You know, common questions that I get for Node-RED is, do you have to run it on something that's 24/7? And you'll find if you get benefit out of Node-RED, it's best to run it on something that is up 24/7, like a Raspberry Pi. Go ahead and invest in a $35 Pi on, Raspberry Pi 4. You can run it on a 4, and just go ahead and invest in it. Get yourself a $10 SD card, a 16 gig SD card. If you can find it, 32, probably you can only find 32 gig, and just build that and use that as your Node-RED server, because it's best to use something that's on 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a requirement, Kyle, for having GPIO pins?
No.
Then have you looked at the 12-volt mini PCs for like $80? That's cheaper than the 5.4.
Yeah, I have. We decided to go with the Raspberry Pi because we have linear power supplies that are 5 volts, and we power the Pis through linear power supplies to keep the RF down. Yep.
Yeah, I power mine off my Astron power supplies at 12 volts.
Yeah.
And just cut the cords and put power poles on them, and they run just fine off 12 volts.
Yeah. The thing that I was going for, that I went down the power supply hole there, but we did have a mini power supply, or I'm sorry, a mini PC. It was like an Intel NUC, and it was throwing RF all over the place. So it was like one strike and you're done. We knew that the Pis were quiet, and we put that mini PC in there, and it just threw hash everywhere. So we're just like, no, we're not doing this anymore.
That was with or without the PC's power supply?
It was without. We were running that on 12 volts too. Actually, we were running on 19 volts. So we brought in one of those things, and we had an up converter, but we had the up converter for a 20 volt. Whenever we ran it on 20 volts, it just spewed RF all over the place. So we decided, no, we're not going to do that. We didn't want to troubleshoot it. We just took it out of the shack and said, no, we know that the Pis are good, and we just put them back in.
Yeah, I have not had any trouble with my 12 volt mini PCs, but they are truly 12 volts. They are not 19.
Yeah. Right. Yep.
Any integrate? So this is a new word for me. I've never even heard of. What is Grafana? But somebody asked, have you done any integrations between Grafana and Node-RED?
It's a graphical interface for doing charts and graphs and all kinds of stuff like that.
Okay.
Hey, props
I have
on
not.
pronouncing Grafana.
Yeah, I have not.
I don't know that you need it, because Node-RED has all the capabilities of Grafana.
Right.
Well, I don't know. Well, let me make this statement: is you could graph stuff in Node-RED, but the thing that is the limitation is if you restart Node-RED, your graphs lose all of that data. Now you can load all of your, log all your stuff to a flat file, and then load that flat file back into your graph. But I could have swore that Grafana is like, it remembers, it puts all that stuff in a database, and then whenever like you restart Grafana, it rebuilds the charts for you and displays your data again.
But can't Node-RED? I thought Node-RED had some nodes that would read out SQL databases.
Oh yeah. And
that's
totally
all that is. Yeah, that's all that is. I mean, we use Grafana all the time, and basically we're reading KPIs is what we call it, that we're pulling from a database. Now, you can get really fancy and stream the data into Grafana. That's completely outside of the scope of this, but and likely Node-RED wouldn't do that, but pretty much everything else I would think it would do.
Yeah. I think the difference is Grafana, whenever you load Grafana, doesn't it automatically load the database like MySQL or some type of database?
No, it's an independent piece of code.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
It's basically just for creating graphs and stuff. I mean, we attach it to other things because we need something that can easily create charts and graphs and pie charts and all of that kind of stuff with data, and it can do that. But everything, we attach tons of other things to it to push the data to it and to hold the data.
Gotcha.
Okay. It sounds like they are making it out there. I'm seeing managed to work Atom CW, weak but readable. Band seems a bit long. Also, I don't know, like with their antenna setup, I don't know how they're going to perform out there, but yeah. All right. More questions for Kyle, since we have him here, and Node-RED is the topic of the day. I just realized I need to change the name of my my fan. It says 6600M fan speed. I don't have an M or a 6600, so I have to change that.
That's the one thing that we talked about it a little bit.
Yeah.
On stream is whenever you load those flows that people have created, you're at the mercy of what they have called them and what people have called the dashboard nodes. So you have to go back in there and kind of scrub that data and make it your own. I wish that there was some way that somebody wrote a program that said, "Oh, I'm going to export this flow, and I'm going to run it through some type of scrubber, and it removes all of the things or you're able to check some boxes and say, all right, I want to call this and that, and then you can export it, put it on a site. So then whenever someone imports it in, it's just generic. It might say test one or sample data or whatever the case may be, and it just puts it out there. So therefore you can rename it instead of having it personalized to that person.
Sure.
Hey, Adam is getting spotted on RBN, or getting picked up.
Yeah. All right. Then, Kyle, if you're hanging out, no big thing. Appreciate you again taking the time to be on the show. But if more questions come up, we'll make sure to throw to you. But we'll open it up wide now to everybody, anywhere, and we like to do this in the beginning when it's just just the normal show where I'm just talking at you. We'd like to give a shout out to everybody who's joining us for the first time. So if there's anybody here for the first time on the Discord side, specifically, we'd like you to say hi, introduce yourself, and if you got a question, this is the time. You get priority access right now. So anybody in there that'd like to say hi or ask a question, go ahead. I appreciate that the show is a little bit more focused. So, all right, open questions from anyone, anywhere about anything radio related would be preferable. Go ahead, come now. All right, well, we're just kicking it then. We're just gonna hang out.
I got a question for you, Josh.
Yeah, go for it, Don.
It might be a stupid one, but so what would you recommend as a scanner to scan 2 meters for packet BBSs? I don't care about APRS now. Packet.
Boondock Echo.
It doesn't scan, but.
What do you say, Boondock Echo? How about just like a BC 125 AT, the Bearcat?
Yeah.
That's pretty expensive, though.
Why do you want to? Why don't you just use an SDR dongle?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, and then what software?
Don't know. So your particular application, I don't have an example of.
Sorry, what I'm looking for is to actually have something that would decode the packets and tell me this is a packet BBS.
Yeah, I don't know. That I've never done that.
Okay.
Most of the packets that I run into, it's for known stations that have been running for, decades now.
Yeah, there's some packet BBS thing out here, but they don't know what frequency it's on, and so I was going to see if there's some way to scan for it and pick it out. But
so when you say scan, it's not just radio signals you're looking for. You specifically want to decode the packet. You want an AX25.
Yeah, because
decoder.
I want to know that's what it is. Because what the packet BBSs do is about every 15 minutes or so they'll ID.
Right.
And the IDs that I've seen look an awful lot like APRS IDs, but there's a little bit of differentiation in the data. Mm-hmm. And so I was wanting to decode the packets more, and say, oh, okay, hey, look, I was scanning along and I found, this signature at this, this frequency.
The concern I have is that your scanner might not be fast enough to catch the beacon. So you'd have to randomly run into them transferring data or something like that to be able to be like, oh, yeah, that's a station.
Given that I'd have to run it a few days or a couple of weeks to actually catch anything. I understand that. And go ahead.
I was going to say, going back to an SDR, Don, do you have any objections to one of those and SDR console or some other variant?
An SDR? Yeah, I've got a Flex radio.
Yeah, I think he's asking, though, for the software specifically that will do it.
Yeah, I am. Because, dongles and all that. Yeah, I've got tons
You're okay
of
with
those.
that? All right, let me pull up something. Did I hear Boondock Echo?
I mean, maybe if you got a fast enough scanning radio and the Boondock can get the audio. That's the problem, though, is that I don't know that it's going to get the audio. I guess when it stops, right? So it stops, and then the audio gets piped in the Boondock would have to be able to copy it, though.
Yeah, truthfully, Mark, that is something. I mean, you can translate text or voice. Can you actually decode? That would be really interesting.
Yeah, we just have to add it to the workflow. Go ahead, Tim.
I was just going to say, since Josh mentioned that, Casey is already writing the code for that.
Oh, yeah, since the word was mentioned, he heard it. Yeah, he doesn't even know it yet. It's already halfway done.
He is a mean, lean coding machine, but I don't think he's here tonight.
It's okay. It's
just
in
like
the
force.
ether.
Yeah,
Boondock Echo, and he's already picked up on it.
Somewhere mentioned Boondock Echo and a feature that didn't exist, and he already began working on the design.
We did mention something earlier tonight that might provide some ideas, Don, and that is a large language model. Ask ChatGPT or Claude. See what they think.
Oh yeah, I've never really used one of those and one of those AI things until I started recently doing Google searches, and Google will print out something from their AI, and it's like, oh hey, that's not a bad answer.
Depending on what you're doing, sometimes it's good stuff.
Yep.
I have a question.
Take it in 1 second. Want to say a big shout out, Risky Business, KC4 Zik, Z-I-K. First time attending, love the YouTube content, been a ham since the early 90s and getting back into it again. Looking to upgrade my ticket and explore HF Digital. Good for you. It's a lot of fun. Thanks for joining us out there. Appreciate it. All right, go ahead, question.
Hey, Josh, this one was kind of for you. I wanted to order the VR N76, but I noticed really only AliExpress or eBay. How come something like that is not on Amazon? I like ordering from Amazon because if I have any problems with it or it doesn't show up, they're great about that. But no one on Amazon seems to carry it or sell it. Do you know why, maybe?
They just probably don't have any products there, to be honest with you. I don't know. I just bought it off their website direct. You can just go to the VGC website and buy it.
What's wrong with the BTEC? Because that is on Amazon.
It's the same company. VGC makes the BTEC as well. If you want to buy the radio from the company that makes all of them, VGC's the one. But the BTEC is absolutely fine too, and you can get that. I think you can get that on Amazon.
Yeah, the BTEC apparently has, and I've got both radios, and I don't notice any difference. But I've heard people say, "Oh, well, the BTEC has the NOAA frequencies programmed in it."
So does
Yeah. Okay.
So does the VGC.
Oh, so it's another radio that's out there that the guts are the same, but they slap a whole bunch of different names on it.
The radio is identical. It just has a different label on it.
But you can't get the orange on the in the BTEC. It's only black.
Yes.
And it's a VTEC what?
BTEC. Bravo Tech.
Oh.
That is the downside of the BTEC is you can't get those crazy colorways.
You know, I thought somebody that has OCD should get one of those clear ones.
They don't. I don't think they have a clear one. If they did, I'd probably own it.
The VR N76, there's a clear one.
No, there is not. What?
Yeah, T.O.'s got one, and supposedly he got it directly from Vero. They sent it to him.
You can see the ugly batteries through the case and everything.
Oh, they do now. Son of a. Oh yeah, so wherever you buy anything in China right now, there is not any shipping going on because it's Chinese New Year. So gong hei fa choi to my to all of China.
Yeah, that was another thing with that like AliExpress. I was like, are they shipping from overseas with maybe some of the tariffs going up and stuff? Is that going to cause a big snafu? That's another nice thing about Amazon.
I want this so bad. I'm going to contact them and say, hey, can you shoot me one of those on the down low? I want one of these really bad. I love clear radios so much. If I could get clear HF radios, oh my God, it'd be insane. Like a clear 705. Yeah. Could you imagine a clear 705? Oh!
You need clear aluminum.
Yes, no, transparent aluminum. That's the way Scotty invented it. Didn't Scotty invent clear aluminum? Or wasn't that his whole deal? One of the things?
It was. Transparent aluminum.
Transparent aluminum, yeah. Well, I take that back. I don't know if he invented it, but I know in Star Trek 2 or 4, that's where he told the people in San Francisco how to make it. And we picked up the mouse and said, computer.
Yeah, and Bones said, how do you know you didn't invent it? You weren't the one to invent it? Because they had meddled with the timeline.
They did. That is very not Federation of them for doing that. Kurt, thank you for the super chat. Thanks for the excellent contact. You helped motivate me to get my general. Well, congratulations, and congratulations on getting on high frequency HF. Love it.
Don, what format is the data for the bulletin board system?
AX25.
Yeah, AX25.
Okay, thanks.
You know what's going to be crazy is if there's a patch live and I can get my Boondock pointed over to a firmware update. Then we'll be doing it live.
That would be cool, but no, we would need KC for that.
Yeah. I figured. Oh man, you got me thinking about this damn clear radio.
The one thing I'm having trouble with on the N76 is doing WinLink Express with it. I don't want to do radio mail, and when I do, and what I've been told is the two WinLink gateways here will not accept AX25 packets. They only accept packets from the what is that? The FM modem. I can't think of the stupid name that starts with a V.
Vara.
Vara FM. Vara
FM is amazing. It's so fast. It's crazy how fast it is.
But that's all they'll accept. And apparently, I assume you can't do Vara FM through the N76, right?
So you can do Vara over anything. You just pipe the audio. Because remember, Vara is an audio stream. It's not a packet. It's not an AX packet. You might be able to do it over Bluetooth. You might. As an interface, an audio interface.
I'm just not sure on the Vara, on the Vara, the N76, whether it can do audio over. Well, it should, because that's how they do their microphone, but I'm not sure how that would register on a PC.
As a Bluetooth device, and then you point the mic and speaker at it. So That's my logical approach to it. But with ham radios, they're so funky about Bluetooth.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all these devices should just have Bluetooth, and then you can just do audio in and out and PTT the dang thing over Bluetooth. I don't know why we're not doing that with everything at this point.
Yes. That's what I love about that damn HT. Jeez, you can do
I know, yeah.
You don't have to hook up anything. It just does it.
It just does it. It just works. Yeah.
If only the 705 would do that.
I love the USB-C. Everybody loves the USB-C. I respect it, love it, etc. But man, at this point, why not Bluetooth? The latency is not slow enough to cause any problems. Should be fine. I'm little worried of it, really.
Yeah, and why doesn't the Nano VNA have Bluetooth in it?
Why would you want that on a Nano VNA?
We have it on the Rig Experts.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you got to use that USB cable. Yeah, I see what you're doing. You're talking about for the data, displaying the data.
Right. Yeah, I'm always Ape and I have this ongoing discussion it's not just me and Ape, it's several of us and Ape on whether or not Nano VNA or Rig Expert.
So which radio did you want Bluetooth on? Was that the BTEC UV Pro or something?
Yeah, we want it on everything.
Everything. Why not?
If anybody wants
radio, even.
If anybody wants to take it and run with it, I've got the Bluetooth protocol about 60% reverse engineered. We can set frequencies and do a lot of stuff remotely on that radio.
Which one?
There's like three of them, or there's three names. It's all the same radio. I think it was the one Josh was showing earlier, the BTEC UV Pro. It's also two other things.
The N76, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've got the format, the packet format deconstructed. If anybody wants to take it and continue the hack.
Sorry, how do I turn that on in the Boondock Echo?
Did I hear Boondock Echo? We've got Bluetooth. We just are out of processor cycles to implement it.
That's hilarious.
We've got too much stuff going on. We're going to have to get a better processor to be able to do Bluetooth. But I'll tell you what we are doing through USB is we are going to start remote controlling radios. So the unit in Bearcat, I think, is going to be our first target. The BC125AT. Set the frequency so you can be on your web page and change to whatever you want to listen to, whatever you want to watch, and it'll tune it for you remotely.
Yeah, can you today, if you're on your Baofeng and you're scanning on the Baofeng and it stops on a frequency and starts playing through the Boondock, can you get the frequency data?
Are you talking like the UV5R?
Yeah, like, hey, it's on frequency so-and-so, and here's the recording. That would be cool.
Not with the UV5R. We can do that with the BTEC UV Pro. We might need an extra Bluetooth dongle and just do it through a computer or something. We can do that through the BC125AT. That's the cheapest scanner. I'm sure there might be cheaper versions, but it's a $125 scanner. And we can set and read frequencies on that.
Yeah.
And then we can also do it with the STS-100 and STS-200, although those are much more expensive buys.
Yeah, that seems to me one of the things that's missing in HTs is the ability to control or change the frequency programmatically.
Oh, totally agree. I looked for that for a good year. The best option we have right now is that UV Pro.
Or the N76. Yeah.
Or the N76, yeah. And I think there's another name for it.
They're very impressive radios. I got to say, it's the most impressive Chinese radio I've seen since the Baofeng came out. Straight up, like it is. There's no reason not to own one from my point of view. It's that good of a radio.
What radio is this? I feel like I slept through something.
The BTEC Pro or the VGC N76. They're fantastic radios. Gobsmacked by how good they are.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I bought one, not really. I mean, I'm not an HT person, period. And I love that radio.
Yeah, and for Don, I know, Don, you're not into HTs, but that radio is something special. It really is.
Oh, it is.
Yep.
And, I even did a video with it. So
I did too. In fact, let me pull that up. N76 radio. It might show up if I Google myself.
That's the one you did with the little Bluetooth handheld. How's it going, everybody? Microphone speaker for it too, right?
This is literally my video. I'll drop the link for it. If you're gonna buy it through my. What is this? Microsoft Bing. Get out of here with this. What the hell was that?
It's Windows 11, Josh.
Yeah, seriously.
Who's the little paperclip guy? Maybe I heard he's coming back.
Oh, seriously?
He's dead.
He's
Clippy?
dead. He's dead.
Yeah, Clippy.
He's dead.
Clippy.
Real quick, though.
I have a good Clippy meme, but it's kind of dirty, so I won't post it here.
Yeah. If you do get that radio, there's apps that go with it on your phone. That's what makes it truly spectacular.
Yeah, I own
Radio
an
mail
N76.
specifically. Radio frickin' mail. If you get radio mail, this just works. It doesn't matter. Dude, iOS, no problems with any radio. What's the other one? WOAD on Android works no problem. It's so good. So good. Anyway, I dropped the link for the video. The link is in there for the N76. Let me see if I can get a shorter link.
Yeah.
I think this might be it.
And what I did with it is I used it as an interface into my packet radio or my packet BBS.
Oh,
So
really?
I literally set the N76 up as the terminal for connecting into the packet radio. And I even demoed that when we were at Field Day. We were over at the park near my house, and I used the N76 to connect to my BBS.
Okay,
and showed it to the guys.
So I'm not a big fan of the app that it comes with, but check this out, okay? This thing does SSTV through the app. The phone, the radio, you can SSTV. You can take a picture of something with a tablet or an Android device, and you can SSTV it over the air, whatever frequency. It's so slick. It's so cool. Literally, here you go. I'm transmitting. So I believe how I have So how I have this set up is I'm transmitting from the VGC, just over a dummy load into the other handheld. The other handheld is just out of the speaker on my phone. I have the speaker, the microphone on my phone, listening to the radio, the handheld, and that's what it's copying off of it. Literally, what I'm sending. Worked great. Great radio.
Mm-hmm.
Is the app one of those where you have to log in over the internet to use it to?
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Not anymore. Okay,
Nope.
cool. Because that really grinds my gears with some of the Chinese radio apps.
I believe that's true, Booty. I believe that's true, but I'm not 100%. You could test. Go download the app. It's called HT. Just Hotel Tango. Go check before you go buy it if you're interested in it. But yeah. Yeah, and it's spuriously clean, all that stuff. It was a very, very good radio. I was very impressed.
And what does the 750? 75. The Kenwood 75 have that this one does not? Because it's not much.
So the Kenwood on iOS, not on Android. It works fine on Android with like Radio Mail or WOAD, whatever. But Radio Mail is an application that I use. That's the most frequently used thing that I do with the handheld is Radio Mail for WinLink over Packet. The D75, you have to use a Bluetooth dongle on the phone to be able to interface with the radio. With the N76, it just works. There's nothing, you need nothing other than just the radio and the phone. Works great.
No, so you don't need that on the Android. You need that on the...
That's what I said. I said you don't need it on the Android. You need it on the iOS.
Yeah. Okay. I heard you wrong.
It's because of the Bluetooth low energy.
Now, I've tried both Radio Mail on both, and whatever they're doing on, and I, like I said, I don't understand it, but whatever they're doing here, that Radio Mail will not connect with the two servers that we have, WindMail servers here. Because supposedly they only work with Vara. They only work with Vara, period. And it's like, well, okay, if I could get this thing to interface with Vara, but I have no idea how I would do it.
All right, I'm grabbing the link for the BTech Pro, and I'm going to drop it. So this is the one that's off of Amazon. So if you're worried about AliExpress, you can get yourself a black-only BTEC Pro, but it's basically the same radio. The comms channel did a comparison between the two, but for all intents and purposes, it's not that different.
When I brought up the Vero Telecom site, it had a pop-up that said we won't be shipping until February 8th.
It said, Gong hei fa choi, sun yin fai lok.
Gosh.
Well, then just go get one of these, Booty. I mean, they're on Amazon.
Yeah, so everybody's asking about color.
Unless you need a pink one. Sorry.
Unless you need
Josh,
if you need the clear, clear. That's at the VGC website.
Josh?
Yes, sir.
How about a battery for that? Do you have a link for that? Extra battery?
I don't. Let me see. Does Amazon get in the zone? Amazon have a battery?
You know, and I never, in your video, I never saw a link for that handheld unit you were using with it.
The banana phone?
No, that little Bluetooth mic you were using with it.
Oh yeah, that's just a Bluetooth PTT dongle. That's universal.
Oh, so
like
it wasn't kind of something made for that radio because they look so similar, the color and everything, that I thought it was something made for that radio.
Mark, I would have to go grab the radio to figure out what the battery is because I am not sure.
No worries, man. I was just going to buy one with your link, but if you don't want that affiliate money, man, it's cool.
It's really simple, Mark. Buddy. It's really simple. Click the link, and then anything you buy in the next 24 hours, I get a cut on. That's how that works. So just go nuts.
Woo! I'm on it, buddy. I'm on it.
So hold on.
Install honey. Hey, Josh.
Hold on. Let me get this.
Yeah, install honey. That'll just take everybody's money.
No, don't use honey. Don't use honey. So I think a lot of these, let me just grab it because I don't know the answer to this question, but these are the Bluetooth. For you motorcycle guys, these are really handy if your radio will do Bluetooth PTT, because then you can have like a motorcycle microphone headset set up, and then you can just PTT, like put this on your handlebars and PTT the radio that way. Somebody said, hey, Josh, go ahead.
On your CW box over there, how in the world are you able to read that thing?
How well am I able to read it? Like how big is the font?
No, I'm talking about the way the reading is on it. How are you able to decipher what it says?
Well, it's not doing much decoding right now so above my head are the indicator lights of the radio. And what we need is for it to say CW in. That light needs to be flashing. And that's when the decoding actually goes into effect. Right now, it's just kind of working on noise. There's no decoding happening of any usefulness right now. So yeah, don't.
I swear to God, if I have to say, I'm sorry, I didn't catch that one more time today, I'm gonna jump off the server. Right? It's like
Somebody posted a Clippy. What is this?
Still waiting on my first.
Never mind. We'll do that another time. All right. Any questions anywhere? Let's take them. Otherwise, I'm going to start playing around with this radio and see if we can make some contacts. By the way, I'm still on 7.0516. If you're making contacts with Kyle and Mark, or Kyle, Adam, and Mark, then keep working with them. Otherwise, we'll start diving in here in a little bit. Any questions?
Hey, Josh.
Hey, Ben. Go for it.
Hey, have you noticed that that the frequency of the 2 meter 147.435, there's a lot of random people just jump on it and start talking with it without call signs or anything?
Are you in Southern California?
Yeah, I'm your neighbor, not too far from you.
Oh, Ben. All right. Yeah, 147.435. We call it the 435. It is the Mos Eisley cantina of ham radio. It is a hive of scum and villainy. So it is called the Outlaw Repeater. It's existed for a very long time. There's a long history. If you look up the 435 repeater, Southern California, you can get all that information. From what I understand, after talking to some of the enforcement and investigators at the FCC, the way they look at it as long as those people stay on that frequency, on that repeater, and they don't bug anybody else, they're not really going to do anything about it.
Okay, because I was at work, I was just searching through the frequency scanning, and I just picked those up, and people just using a lot of colorful words on that. I was like, wow, well, that's exciting.
Yeah, in fact, let me see if I can just pull it up.
See, we need one of those here. Kyle, help me out.
I took a... Hey, whenever I worked at Anheuser-Busch and I went to the LA Brewery in Van Nuys, I took my HT and from the hotel room...
Oh, yeah, you totally get it.
And it was a hoot. It was great.
I know exactly where you were at, and yes, that repeater would come into that location with no problem.
Yeah.
I'll see people in the Facebook group complaining about somebody was on my local repeater cursing and kill to have that here. Please, we need a repeater of filth. I will just live there if we had that.
There's a really good repeater that all the guys are super solid and they're all like super regulars. They've been together for decades. Like I've been listening to it and talk on it rarely, but it's BB's box. It's the PHX box. It's the 70 centimeter repeater on Santiago Peak. That is a very good repeater with a really, really close group of people. They can get a little dicey. They can get a little spicy, but generally good people though. That's another one you should listen to. So let me see if I can find that.
Is that repeater still... A long time ago, it was on Broadcastify. Like, you could stream it.
Which one? 435?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, you can.
Somebody was streaming it, yeah. So if you want to search the web, you can probably stream it somewhere.
So let's see if we can pull up BB's box here. It used to be K6KO, right? Was it K6? God, I don't remember. KF6PHX. KF6PHX. 446640. Which I'm sure I have it in a memory here. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Yep, there it is. They're talking nonstop. They never stop talking. Already? You probably didn't hear that, but there was a curse word right off the get. Oh no. Let's see. KF6PHS. KF6PHX Broadcastify. Let's see. KF6. Oh, no, that's not it. Repeater world. Jesus, that guy's loud. I'm hoping I can... I'm trying to find it here, so hold on. Here we go. What is going on?
It's out there.
What is this? Oh, this is a... Why are we watching somebody playing Smite 2 Alpha? What is happening? I pulled up this website, ArtSci.pub, and it's a repeater database, but they got somebody that's playing Smite 2. That's just on the website. Okay. This is some ham. Nice. This is some ham stuff, okay? And then there's there's a handy pop-up on how to use the website. Of course. This is ridiculous. Okay. What is it? KF6PHX? Is that right? KH6? I think it's KH6. Oh, nope. Okay.
Is it K6MWT?
No. Which one are you talking about? Sorry. Jesus.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the 435.
I'll pull up the 435, but I'll probably get demonetized. So it's called Spark. That's the repeater. So 446640. 446640 is the frequency. That's a good one. Yeah, so let's see. All you gotta do is 435 repeater. And there it is.
435 is quiet right now, so you're good.
The world famous 435. Nope, that's not it. Oh, this one is on Broadcastify. And I don't even know if I want to click on this. It's going to play an ad.
This is Jenny Garth from I Do Part 2.
Hi, Jenny Garth.
Who do you know on Ozempic or semaglutide right now?
Ozempic,
Everyone,
you
right?
say?
These game-changing weight loss meds are everywhere, and Future Health makes it easy to get started. Find out if weight loss meds are right for you in just 3 minutes.
Everybody on the Discord, you're probably not going to hear this. So you have
Future
to.
Health is not a healthcare services provider.
You'd
Meds
have to listen
are
on YouTube.
prescribed at provider's discretion. Results may vary. Sponsored by Future Health.
There are 12 people listening to this repeater right now. Guys, I can't do anything about the buffering. I mentioned Ham Nation. There's nothing I can do. It's some connection between my Restream service and the YouTube. It's not happening on Twitch. At least I don't think it is. But let me pull it up. I'm gonna refresh here. Hold on. Regardless, there's nothing I can do. Once I'm live, I'm live. I'd have to kill the stream and... Oh, there's the repeater keying up. Oh yeah, we got a big drop. So just hang on, everybody. Hang on. Hang on.
Hey, Booty, we should put one of these in St. Louis. I got the equipment. You find me a spot to put it. We'll get it done.
I mean, well, that might be harder for me to do than most because I'm awful, but yeah.
So this is my
We'd have to spend
drop.
like 6 months running off the guys that would get on there. Hey, you can't talk like that on here. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna.
All right. For fear of running into who knows what. Oh, God. Where did it go?
This while you're working on that. I'm going to try and get some people to get their... I've been made one of the admins of the St. Louis Queer Gun Club.
The Queer Gun Club? That's amazing.
The Queer Gun Club, yeah. So, because I started getting phone calls from people like, can you teach me to shoot a gun? So I started a little company, and I reached out to this local author I know that we've talked about it in the past. Said, hey, I'm giving lessons, so if you know anybody. And like 10 minutes later, I'm added to a Facebook group of like 80 people who all want to take gun lessons from me, and it was the Queer Gun Club. I'm
hey,
like,
Booty,
all right, right on.
Booty, I love what you're saying. I'm going to let you finish, but can you please tell me what makes a gun queer?
It's more like the people holding it in this
Just
case.
kidding. I'm kidding.
I know.
I knew what you meant. Well, that was a great opportunity for you to say it has to have the word Keltec on the side of it.
That's more like a cocaine gun right there.
Okay. Or Taurus. Taurus would be the other one.
Well, yeah, no, that'd be more like a dog turd. But no, but I'm going to encourage some of these guys to at least get their technician's license.
Yeah. Good. Good for you. Good stuff.
And we need 2 people to do a test, right? 2 VEs.
3.
3. Okay, I need one more person.
I think it depends. I think it depends on your VE team. But I think it's generally 3. Somebody correct me.
Okay.
I'm not.
Because there's one other guy already with his ticket, and he has his extra.
Oh, that's what you need. Extras are generally what you want.
No, you need 3 because there are 3 signatures on the form.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I need to round up one more person then.
Don't call me. I'm not a VE.
Well, I'm not either, but I'm gonna be eventually. I only have my general, but I can do the tech test. Correct?
Yes.
Yes, as a general.
Just Booty, just send them down to Cliff Cave on Tuesday nights. That's where they test everyone.
Yeah, I was gonna try that, but also if they're reluctant, then I'd at least get them their tech, and then if they want to go farther, be like, go do it with the real deal over here.
Yeah, you'll have to sign up with a VEC though.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. ARRL actually has a pretty easy VEC to sign up for. I'm sure.
I've already looked into it.
I signed up 2 months ago, and I have yet to be confirmed to be allowed to do it.
Booty, if you want the inside scoop, literally this Discord, go to #testing questions and ask any one of our VEs. Probably shout out who. Hold on, let me go back up here.
I guess I could also just send them to you if they want to do it online.
Well, or there's a whole VE team.
Oh,
here.
the HRCC has a VE team.
Yes.
Right.
Who am I thinking of? Who's our VE team lead? Why am I going complete?
Leia? No.
No, it's not Leia. Nick.
It's not Heath, right?
It's N1CCK. Nick. Reach out to N1CCK. Ask him, like, you know, if you want to get started. Honestly, we'd probably bring you into the HRCC VE team, and then you can just do HRCC tests wherever you're at. You just have to coordinate, because again, it's all online. You all just hop on Zoom. Doesn't matter where you live, right?
True.
Yeah, you should join us, man.
Or
Love
I
to
could
get
send them down to Cliff Cave.
Heather would be the other one. Heather, yeah. Well, and everybody's saying Heather. Heather would be the other one too. Yeah, Heather's in testing questions. So if you go to #testing questions, let's see, where am I? How do I work my own Discord? I need someone that's 15 years old to tell me how to use this. My kids will soon become my IT. Heather, KM6Z. KM6Z is the other one. Yeah, Nick or Heather.
Right on.
Just seriously, join us, dude. You'll get more VE requests to join and hop in. You get a bunch of experience, and then you can start running your own stuff. Nobody's gonna stop you.
Yeah, I can just see myself showing up down at Cliff Cave with this crowd.
They're not gonna care. They're not gonna care.
Well, you know, it's a
Again,
colorful crowd.
Booty, a lot of the people that are on the VE team are in California. We're fine,
I
dude.
mean here locally. I'm talking about Cliff Cave is where we do our local testing. Yeah.
Honestly,
at
you
the
might get
public library.
You might get some side eyes from some range officers, but if they're all behaving themselves and they're acting safely, dude, awesome. More power to you.
That's our VE. That's where we do our VE testing.
I was talking about the shooting.
I've got a gun club. I'm going to take people to for lessons.
I was talking about the shooting too.
Yeah, I'll be the range officer for that. Like I've got insurance and stuff for that.
Oh, good for you. That's awesome. So if you're go ahead, Kyle.
I was going to say, you've seen the misfits in the ham radio community in St. Louis. They probably just fit right in.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's not the gay gun club. It's the queer gun club.
Guys, we gotta win, another win under the belt. We put another tally on the board for the after chat. Absolutely killing it. Pig just came back. Pig was the one that had the shed. Remember the shed, the Wi-Fi? It's like I came back in after the after chat a few weeks ago for Wi-Fi to my shed. I got it working. So just wanted to come back and say thanks for all the help. Good job, Pig. Good job. I would love to know what the solution was. Can you go ahead and drop another comment that says what the solution? You just do a quick little description of how you fixed it. Love to hear that. Actually, we want to hear that because we like to hear successful things so that we could copy it if we ever need that again. If our wives kick us out and we have to go live in a shed and also take our radios, how do we get that delicious Wi-Fi, right? We want to know the answer. I'm always one screw up away from living in the shed, guys.
Hey, Josh. I brought the cable out here, and then I'm beaming Wi-Fi back to the house. That's how I took care of it.
You you own all the internet, and you feed the home from the shed. I gotcha. Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
I like it. All right, I am. So here's how this is gonna go. I'm on 70516. It is. Oh, it's not even 8 o'clock yet. We still got some time. But I want to start calling CQ to see if I'm actually making it out. I have gotten reverse beacon picked up multiple times on this radio. It's just locking down a contact I haven't been successful with. So I'm trying to lock one in. Couldn't get the POTAs, so we're gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way, where you point an entire live stream at it until we solve the problem.
Does that one have the requirement of you being like at 3,600 hertz
Yes.
before it starts decoding? Okay, yeah.
Yes, yes, it does, Don. That has actually been one of my my biggest issues is that it's tonal. So you can almost tell when you're scanning up and down the frequencies where the CW tone, like that's a speaker, right? So hold on, that's a speaker right there.
Mm-hmm.
And I will hear the CW coming out of that speaker, and I'm like, oh, that's perfectly copyable CW. And that speaker's not great. It's more or less just to know if you're kind of in the ballpark. And I'm like, let's do this. What's the problem? Go start the decode, make it happen. And it's like, nah, you gotta scan up or down until you find that. I think it's 1,300 kilohertz specifically is the tonal threshold.
Yeah, I think that's it. But yeah, I've got one, and I was successful in using it until it broke. But now the guy, all I had to do was send it back to him, and it was a known issue, and send it back to him, and he sent it back to me, and I haven't used it since because the decode in the 101D just works so well, and it's just, I don't know. I find it easier to get it to into just the right spot where it starts decoding. Mm-hmm. That one, it's the same problem. You got to get it just so far off, mm-hmm. and and then I believe if you're talking to somebody that's sending CW, they may be on 600 and you've tuned off.
Yes.
So you've got to move that back.
You got to rid it.
So
you got to rid it out. Yep.
Right. And yeah, exactly. But it worked. I mean, I liked it enough that I was like, I bought it, and I know where it is. It's sitting in the other room.
Did I miss the update from Pig? Did he tell us what the solution was? I'm looking at my chat.
No, the last thing I see is where he said, "Thanks, Don."
Oh, he also said, "Well, Don got a special call out, so Don was probably closest to the answer."
I was helping him in private Discord chat.
Oh, nice. Good for you. Pig, tell us what you did. Was it just what we said? Like you just got to get the node outside the amplify?
I gave him several suggestions and gave him some equipment to buy, and for some reason he bought that, and then his brother didn't like it. I know that part.
Oh,
but then I never heard, since he's saying it's working, somehow or another he got the attention of his brother, and his brother was going to help him then. So hopefully he was able to work it out with his brother. That I know what his brother was telling him it was doing wasn't correct, but that's okay. I mean, as long as they worked it out and they were both happy.
I think we were talking about like some of the ubiquity stuff would all be really good.
Mm-hmm.
I remember all that. That was fun because everybody let their true colors fly, and everybody, as we found out in the Discord, are IT professionals.
Why? Even Tim is a high IT professional.
But I'm credentialed.
I
refuse to be credentialed.
I have an actual semi-announcement. I took a job. I am taking over the deputy position under I don't know if he's a director now. I don't know what it is, but I am taking over an IT department. So there you go, guys. But
fun?
It's a engineering IT department. So it's a lot of the equipment we use for satellite communications, that kind of stuff. So it's a little bit more down the engineering satellite-y side of it. But hey, just got a new job.
Are you trying to turn your hair gray?
Oh, it's already going, man. It's already.
And this time,
my kids
did you
were
get
joking
money?
Yes, I did. Yes, Don.
Oh,
yes,
good,
I did.
good,
yes,
good.
buddy. Yes, I did.
Congratulations.
Yes, I did. Yeah, I also I think I got a bonus wrapping up last year. So there's the Power Genius all taken care of.
All right. Nice.
Okay,
nice work.
Thank you. I am going to. I don't hear anybody directly on the frequency. I've been listening. So I'm gonna do the thing. We got a little bit of RIDI, but I think we're off. So you hit this button. It says call. Check this out. Ready? So I click it again, and it's only going to call CQ once. And so it's CW out, right, above my head.
Mm-hmm.
And we are going to also simultaneously check out Reverse Beacon Network while we do this. Oh, why are you still doing the thing? It should do DE now. Or K. Yeah, okay, now it's done. So hopefully somebody goes directly on frequency. Don't futz about being off frequency like a good CW operator might, a couple of kilohertz up or down. Just right on my frequency.
I just got a hand alert that KI6NAZ is.
Oh, you did? Yeah, I got picked up.
Yeah,
I got picked up on Reverse Beacon in San Jose, it looks like. A total of 338 miles away. Whew, man, we're getting out there.
And are you doing that through the Flex, or are you doing it directly through the...
No, this is just through that laptop. Laptop's the radio and everything.
Yeah, I know that's one way to do it, but you can do it, or at least the one I've got, you could do it. You can also connect it to a radio.
Look at this, man. Look at this setup. Oh, that's going on a beam, it looks like. Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Ubiquity has some of those.
Those are Ubiquity. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's what that is. Yes, yes.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what I use between the barn and the house. Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I need somebody to come back at me. Shoot me that. Hearing you 579 out of Carson City, Nevada. Come back then. Somebody just go ahead. It's not gonna. I'm not really like copying like head copy right now. We're using the old Nomad here to do the work. I'm gonna do it again. Here we go. Okay. We're dropping. Oh. What's going on here? Do the thing. Do your job. Why? Joseph, it's not about being confident in CW. Nobody's gonna care. Just you get your call sign. We'll count. No. We'll call it. We'll count it. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's not transmitting now. Hold on. I'm gonna have to do the power restart. Look at my.
Am I allowed to talk right now?
Look at those playing cards. Remember those cards, kids? You remember when you used to get playing cards when you would go on the airlines?
Who's asking?
Yes, you can.
Pig Pig.
Oh, Pig, you're here, man. Go for it.
Yeah, so I got the Wi-Fi working. I got the device and I mounted it to the mast on my chimney, which is also connected to my homebrew beam, which is why it looks like there's a beam there. It's not related to the Wi-Fi thing. It's just there, and that's pointed down towards my barn. And then I got the same thing going on the barn side. They're pointed right at each other, and I had to link them prior, and it works great. It's 100 megabytes bits per second right off the bat without trying to align to them. So it's working great. So thanks, Josh, and big thanks to Don for helping me out even after the after chat. He was helping me out. So
yeah, that's awesome, man. I'm glad to hear it. So what ultimately was buying some Ubiquity gear and getting it piped into your brother's Wi-Fi, right?
Yes. One thing I will mention is my brother did have something set up where he had everything manually wired in the house, so it wasn't actually a mesh network. We had all these different devices in the house, and he had spent like a lot of money on Ethernet to run it directly to all of these things.
Oh,
and then
I see.
He got really annoyed because the first Ubiquity device that I bought converted our network into a mesh network, and he got really annoyed because it would have been like he did all that Ethernet running for nothing, you know. And then we returned it and we bought a different device. We bought 2 of them, and they work independently from the rest of the network.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's the part when you were telling me that I'm like, I don't see. I mean, I've never bought a device that turns your network, especially hardwired Ethernet, into a mesh. It will create a mesh in the Ethernet or in Wi-Fi, but your Ethernet is still going to be point to point, layer 1 to layer 2. So I don't know what he's talking about, but anyway, I mean, I'm so glad that you and your brother figured something out together and got that working.
Yeah, thanks, Don. You really helped me out a lot, so thank you.
Now, something to keep in mind, and you may have seen this when you were shopping, right? These, you pretty much have to have the beams pretty much pointing at each other, right? You'll get the best bandwidth if you've got them aligned, and there's some tools to let you do that. But they also have something called a sector antenna that will give you, it'll give you a signal on 120 degrees. So if you have other buildings or locations on the property that are kind of within that same 120 degree view of that sector antenna, you can point multiple of these types of antennas at that sector, and it's a point to multi-point solution.
Got it. Thanks.
But Rob, I want massively MIMO, 192 antennas, just like the telecom guys do.
Well, we all want that for sure.
Yeah, one thing I am amazed about, and forgive me for just a second, but that we in amateur radio do not look at what the telecom guys are doing and take advantage of some of the stuff that they put in there. Because they literally can walk around buildings, whereas we're restricted to line of sight. And the techniques are there; they're not that hard.
I agree, Don. I agree totally. So everybody that's listening right now, you're not on my frequency. I can hear people calling, but we really want to see this thing decode. So you got to tune up right on me, which I'm on 7.0516. I can hear you, but it's not in the right hertz space. So you might have to, I might have to adjust. Actually, I might have to do that. But go right on frequency. Don't dilly dally about there. But all right. GM Gameplay says hello and hugs from the Azores. Right on, Portugal. All right, very cool. I have a question if I can make it. You got it, man. You don't need to ask. Just put question in the chat or at Ham Radio Crash Course, and we'll take your question live.
One thing you should try sometime, Josh, and I do have one of those devices. We should try sometime device to device, keyboard to keyboard.
This thing's going back to its owner.
Oh, do you borrowed it from somebody?
I'm borrowing it from somebody, and I'm not keeping it.
Oh,
somebody's coming in. The CW ins light up. Keep going. All right, whoever that was with the slow code, do it again. Do it again, because it's got to sample it. So we're collecting data. It's got to sample it, and it's going to then start decoding once it figures out how fast you're sending. You're good. You're sounding clear. I could hear you. Go for it.
Yeah, it's working on it.
What was the frequency again?
It was a D 70516.
How much data does it need to figure out? Like you're going to miss half the conversation before
it's
it
the
figures
speed.
in.
It's the code speed. So it's got to sync itself to the code speed, and then it decodes.
Oh, that's like
I
how
know.
much of that?
I
Yes,
know.
Kyle, we know.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
I was using my Flex to key into it. Like I was sending it like perfect code via the Flex, and that worked like perfectly. So this individual's coming in at 10 words a minute. Let's see if it copies it. You can send your call sign like 8 times until we get it.
Yeah, I had mine hooked up to the 101D, and I was able to tune around to different people. And then if you worked at it enough, you could eventually get it to decode them.
So potentially KK7S? See, the decoding's a little funky.
Mm-hmm.
KK7S?
And he might be straight keying, which will confuse it a little bit.
Da-da-da. The da-da-dit. Huh. Give your call sign again, because I think we're locked in. You're about 8 to 10 words per minute fluctuating. Da-da-da, K. K. Oh, so that's a 7. It was KK7.
Your decoding might be better than its decoding.
I literally am doing it in my head.
And
you're doing its job for it.
And honestly, that helps me sometimes to, like, you got a device in front of you, and then you sit and you watch it, and it gives you the confidence to go,
yeah,
no, that's a this, that's a this, and you're able to do it. Yeah.
So it has a buffer, so you can type ahead. And yeah, we're just gonna make it as long as GOO. That's right, not GUDOO.
Yeah. Isn't good in CWGUD?
Yeah, that's why I was joking. It's like not GUD.
Yeah.
And then I got to hit out of it. So I hit escape. That gets rid of the buffer. Oh no, he's fading. Well, I'm just going to call that as a successful contact. If you want to throw in the chat that was you. Was it KK7S? Did we copy that at least right? Yeah, that's kind of my thoughts, is that it's a lot of build-up. I almost feel, it's kind of funny. This is not a cheap device, by the way. This is not a cheap device. But
no.
There's something to be said about when your teaching aid becomes an obstruction and you're just like, fine, I'll just do it myself. I'll just learn it. I'll just go do,
Yes.
I'll learn C. Like, it almost makes you do that, which is kind of crazy. I don't know if that's the intention. I don't think it is, but that's my feeling on it, is that it's like, it's
that
almost
you
at
get
the point
frustrated that
right,
you just learn it in spite of it.
Yeah, exactly. That you're like, I'm just gonna do this on my own. I'm gonna do, I wanted to do this anyway. I was gonna use this to help me, but it's sort of getting in its own way, and so I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah, I don't think this is designed as a teaching aid. It's designed for people who don't know CW to be able to use CW in the event of a problem.
Yeah. And
correct.
It's meant to be keyboard to keyboard. I know.
Well,
it's not requirement.
It's
but,
literally a keyboard.
Well, in other words, like, you have a device and I've got a device, and we sync up and start sending back and forth to each other.
Yeah, I imagine if you had two of these and they were talking to each other, it might be easier. So, Don, you might be right. Like, do you have it, Don? You might want to just throw it on and see if you can make it in here.
No, I'm not in the shack. I could go out to the shack, I guess.
Oh, you don't have to do that otherwise. It's okay.
Yeah.
Can FT8 get slower? I don't think so.
Earlier you were talking about there was like the 8 people doing
Really?
Yeah. When I got my ticket, which was like 5 years ago, it wasn't that long ago, there was PSK 31 everywhere, and now it's just gone.
Oh, no. When I became licensed and got my general, PSK 31 was the mode. There was no FT8 at the time. And most of my early contacts were all on PSK31, and it was great. Like, PSK31 is actually really, really fun.
I used the hell out of it for like a year, and then it just dried up.
Yeah, high solar cycle, the last solar cycle, so 11 plus years ago, it was great. PSK31 existed before FT8, and it was really, really nice in the last solar cycle. It was great. I used a complete garbage antenna and was making contacts all over. Nothing like I do now, of course, but as a young general, I was like, this is the bee's knees. You know, that's what we said in those days. And we wore an onion on our belt. It was the style at the time.
We should all be using Hellscriber.
Mm-hmm.
The PSK31 was just littering the bands for Winter Field Day. It was all over the place in the digital.
Don, you're absolutely right. If you're a real IT guy, you would be using Hellscriber.
Yeah, PSK
that is the basis for the dot matrix printer.
Yeah, Rob, we made several contacts with JSA call.
Oh, JSA, we had a station devoted to JSA, and he was actually doing a very credible job of making contact.
Mm-hmm.
It worked out really well. Oh, will the QDX do Hellscriber? I don't think so. I think it only works on FSK. Isn't it FSK? Am I wrong? Somebody want to fact check me on that? QDX is just FSK, and Hellscriber, because Hellscriber is not FSK. Right?
You're sending me to Google.
Yeah, I think it's FSK only.
ChatGPT.
Do you guys actually use IT for those kind of questions? Like, do you go to IT for that? Or AI? I never use AI, ever. My wife does all the time. She's like, you should be using this. Like, your life would be better. And I'm like, really?
You don't have access at work to internet, do you? Or are you allowed to?
On some computers, I guess I can.
Yeah, I was going to say, because when I used to be in the kind of stuff you do, they would...
I don't mean it worked on. I mean, like, me right now. Yeah.
No, I use it at work. And
do you?
Yeah, for certain questions, sure.
I could see throwing my email at it, like, hey, is this good? They're like, no, you absolute troglodyte. Everything that you just typed is horrible. But other than that,
I have ChatGPT tied into Home Assistant, and then you give it some like basic parameters for like what it's supposed to do. And then I have my Home PBX where you can dial an extension and it'll call into that. And I let my son call it and talk to it. And he'll sit there and talk to ChatGPT for like 20 minutes. It's a scream.
That's cool. That's super cool. Okay, I could see that. That's awesome. I like that.
Our IT department just keeps sending us warnings not to use it.
I know, right? That's the type of stuff I get. It's like, this is the devil. Like,
well, yeah, I don't use ChatGPT, but when you do a Google search now, it'll pop up this thing from their AI is like the first return. So that's what I'm using. I'm not actually using ChatGPT.
They're kind of making it.
I despise that feature.
No, who is that man I just heard?
Steve.
Is that the Steve?
Indeed.
Oh, how you doing, man? How you been?
Not bad, man. I've been pretty good.
It's great to hear, buddy. I'm happy to hear your voice. I hope you've been well. What's been going on ham radio side over there?
Yeah, I've been messing around with DMR on the local repeaters recently with my little Baofeng DMR radio, and doing a bit of airband listening, but not much apart from that. Now, the one thing that does quite worry me about ChatGPT is the fact that I'm currently doing a course, and the amount of people who just chuck the stuff into ChatGPT and pass from that is worrying to me, because they're not actually developing the skills for themselves. Now, there are people who use it responsibly, though, so I do not believe that it's a tool that needs to be cut out. It's just it's gotten to the point where it's good enough to fool a lot of people, but it's still... people use it as a crutch.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that. Yeah, I'm kind of... there's this meme It's this guy taking a picture of his desk, like his home is like home office, and it's like 18 computers that he has strewn about this desk, and he's like, well, my first job went fully remote, and I realized they really only have me do like a couple of hours of work a day, so I just got like 8 more jobs. And it's just all the computers that he has for his like work at home jobs. And so at some point, this is obviously not for all jobs, but at some point, don't you think that like the AI will just be able to do the job for some of these jobs? Not all of them, but some of them, right?
Comment?
Go ahead.
Bean fries are done.
I just 2 weeks ago fired a guy for doing that.
No way.
Absolutely.
Can you talk to it a little bit? Are you willing to talk about it?
Yeah,
Or is
I
it...
can share a little.
Okay.
So I got brought in on a project, and the only thing I can tell you was for defense, and I'm a contractor, and I project managed it.
Okay.
And this guy was billing crazy hours, and there was nothing to show for it. No usable code, nothing. His repositories were empty. There were no commits. There was no documentation. So I got on Upwork and all these other things, and I found him, and he was billing hours during the hours he was supposed to be working on this contract. So I mean, that's fraud. It's a felony. I think it's a Class D felony in California. So if you guys are going to do that,
for defense, you could see actual fines and jail time depending on how egregious
absolutely.
It is. Yeah.
Well, and this was, I think we got almost to the 6 digits.
In hours or dollars?
In dollars.
Oh goodness, yeah, that's not a joke.
Yeah, it's a thing. So lawyers are involved in stuff. So I'm just telling you, you might think you have a sweet gig, but if you get a manager who's paying attention, it could cost you big.
Mm-hmm.
The guys that go around to the different stores and do the brand setups, the merchandising. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Branding, yeah branding professionals. Yeah,
right. They'd be like the Frito-Lay guy or whatever. I knew a guy that used to make $70,000 a year just doing merchandising, and he worked for like 6 different companies, and he figured out just kind of over time, like, got assigned to the same store for different companies, and he'd do like 3 things at once while he was there. So he was making like $50 an hour.
What was he, triple?
So he was doing the work, but it was a hustle. It was something else the way he had it set up. He did it like 6 days a week too.
For some things it's okay, other things it's not. If you're an hourly employee and you're billing an hour to an employer, you better not be billing that same hour to somebody else.
I knew a guy.
That's pretty much exactly what he was
doing.
That's
how consulting firms work, Mark.
So before this guy made it big time, I knew a guy who, you know what a pharmaceutical rep is? They make insane money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, what if
that
you
is
just
the only job out there that I regret not having an advanced degree for, because you got to have one to get it. But
what
they
if
make stupid money?
What if you took multiple pharmacy rep jobs and you just hawked different pills at the same doctor at the same time? Are those billable hours? Hypothetically, yes. And so you go out, you hang out with a doctor, and you hawk one drug while hawking another drug at the same time, or whatever a plethora of products are from this pharmaceutical company, and you charge them all. That's technically not okay, but
it depends. If it's commission based, I'd say that's possibly okay.
I can see commission based. Yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've known guys that did that, but they were self-employed.
Again, potentially okay, but if you are employed, like an employee of a company, and you're doing something else on their time that you're getting paid for, you are committing fraud.
I was kidding. They were drug dealers.
Dumps on company time.
What was that, Steve? Sorry, we didn't.
I have taken so many dumps on company time, man. I am an absolute disrespecter of it.
That I support.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
But also, you got to work hard if you're going to slack off a bit.
Yeah, what's the joke? The boss takes a dime, I take a nickel. Or no, I get a nickel, the boss takes a dime. That's why I take a dump on company time or something like that. Anyway, somebody will correct me. Oh, geez. Not the Elon Musk talk. Don't get me started, Sean. Sean is the biggest instigator, I think. I figured it out of Elon. I actually am not upset about what he's doing. I don't know enough information to get any feels either which way. He might be really good at this, the politician thing. I don't know. I'm not ready to decide either way. I'm very critical of Elon, and I'm gonna wait. I'm not gonna pass any judgment right now. That's how objective I am.
When he wants to start calling California Rhodesia, then we're going to have some problems.
Well, okay, I'm not a fan of the salute thing. I don't know what was going on there. That doesn't make any damn sense to me. But hey, Wade, don't get me wrong. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of Elon. I'm not a fan. But he has a position. He's working it apparently. So let's wait and see. Still not a fan of the man. I'm not going to say I'm a fan, but there you go. Everybody is diving in. Elon is a huge menace. I'm not. There is no one who can say that I am a defender of Elon Musk. At no time. I was not a fan of him before everybody thought it was cool to not be a fan of him anymore. Like, you were all watching him on Iron Man going, that's Elon Musk, before he got hair plugs. And I was just like, this guy, not this one, not a fan. But hey, he's got the job now. The only thing we can hope for is he does a good job at it. It's our government. We want it to work correctly. So let's hope for the best.
And while we're talking about billionaires, what about Facebook's hairdo now? Zuckerberg hairdo.
What was his deal? It's like a Colombian, like he's got the whole chain. He's rocking the chain and all that thing, like because he's got family origins or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. The thing was he's got that curly mop now instead of that. He always shaved it real close, and he's just kind of let it out, and it's just he just looks so different now. A lot more goofy.
What I think is so funny is just how quickly he fell into line, right? Just it's like
with the First Amendment stuff, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's like, I also like money.
Yes.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
All right, we gotta say hi to some YouTubers. So I'm gonna go down this list. You know what, Andy? What the hell, man? What have you been up to? We're gonna start with K Booty on this one.
I don't really qualify as a YouTuber anymore, but thank you. Well, I already told you, Queer Gun Club's what I've been doing, and tomorrow I've got 3 new guns I haven't shot yet because we had such a horrible ice snow storm here. I couldn't get there to where I go shoot, but it's finally thawed out. So tomorrow I'm going to go raise some hell. 2 of those guns were manufactured right here at the headquarters, and then the other one's a cheap Turkish shotgun.
I'm thinking of like that song Apple Bottom Jeans with the Boots with the Fur, and I'm thinking the Taurus with the Curve is what's coming to my mind. The Taurus with the Curve.
I would fall into the category of Taurus haters. I have one Taurus. I've had many over there. I had a Taurus 1911 fire a round out of battery. And,
that's not good. That's not
broke
good.
My glasses and embedded a bunch of the magazine in my left hand. That was awesome.
Oh, it was a magazine discharge? Well, it was in the magazine. Well, it was still in the well?
It cooked off the round out of battery. Because we did some forensics afterward, like, what the fuck was that, right?
It full Glocknated on you?
It blew the magazine out, and when it did, like, the base plate just vaporized, but it cooked off a couple of rounds underneath it when the round detonated out of battery. It was more like 3 rounds of 45 went off simultaneously. So
that was a Taurus.
Yeah.
That's where
that was a Taurus.
You fire one into the air, and then you throw the gun at the enemy, and then it just cooks itself off. The old Glocknade. The old Glocknade. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and then I had another Taurus, what was like a PT, this is back when I was poor, little carry gun, little single stack 9. The frame cracked on it while I was shooting it. And I have one left. It was my dad's. It's a revolver, and it's sentimental, but I don't like shooting it because the timing is so bad.
Oh, that's not good either.
It'll like put little pieces of metal in your forehead while you're shooting it. So
forcing
I'm
cone
definitely
for
a
days.
Taurus hater. Yeah.
I with that said, I do actually like Keltec. It's such a weird. Keltec is the Alinko of guns.
Keltec in its own way is awesome.
Yeah, dude, they make the weirdest stuff. Always the weirdest things, and you're like, Keltec, I see what you were trying to do. I appreciate it, but boy, are you crazy. 100%. Nobody. Elon Musk is. Nobody is defending him here. Some people are. Not me. Never look at me to defend Elon Musk. He's totally a charlatan. I will.
Trying to find a pic.
That's it.
My new gun, one of them.
All right, next, Bill, Ham Radio Tectonics. How you doing, bud? What's going on?
Pretty good, man. What's up with you?
Got my Node Red cooking, and yeah, I know you're kind of like a flex guy. What's your Node Red situation right now?
I've got a Node Red node up and running. I import from the groups IO. I import the flows and make them work. I've got one that works sometimes. For that digital logger switch that I did a video on the other day, it works sometimes. The Node Red does. The switch always works.
Yeah,
but the Node Red works sometimes, and sometimes it don't. It's really good on the rest of that stuff. So I also have the Node Red incorporated with Home Assistant.
Oh, okay.
So when I get a chance, I play with those things, and I am really intrigued by George's station controller. And I talked to him, emailed him, and he said, so I'm going to replace the Pi I have with his Pi and put my Node Red on there, and I'm going to venture from there. So I've already got basically all my switches and relays done, already done. I've already spent the money, and I don't want to rip all that out. I'm good with it, but I do want to experiment with the station controller once they're out there. I'm going to start with the Pi node, but let's see. So I did those videos. Still working on the 2 meter. It's not 2 meter. The HF amp kit power supply. I've actually got it working. I haven't done a video yet, but it works really nicely. It's just on the floor of my pickup. I don't know if it'll go under the seat, but I don't care. Nobody rides with me anyway. And it does the trick, and I'm sure I was overdriving and everything else, but I was getting nice reports, and I didn't blow it up, and it didn't overheat. So all is well. Just turn it on, throw the power to it, pour the coals on, don't read the manual, just go. And
yeah,
I didn't blow it up, so that's about it. And got to move both RVs this month. That's gonna go to Hamcation, so that's gonna be a bit of a nightmare. One RV is an oldie but goodie, and nobody, some RV parks are really snobby.
Okay.
If your RV is older than 5 years or 10 years, they don't want you. And I just got the latest one, so I called one up and said if it's under 20 feet, they don't want you. So I'm like, you got to be for long term. So it's turned into a bit of a nightmare, but I'm enjoying life, man. I'm
good
experimenting. Kyle was helping with so zero tier. It's kind of like a VPN, but it isn't. So putting zero tier on devices to get my Maestro and Flex to defeat the dreaded Musk CGNet. So that's my latest project is trying to find a way to defeat CGNet. But I'm gonna get out of the way. Thanks, guys. And I did a live stream. So like this is a shout out for all the people that hung out. So like 50 people got in a live stream to help me. I want to do a giveaway, and they just hung with me, watch me fall on my face, but they did, I had some good suggestions, and thanks to all those guys, and I'm going to eventually get it done. Maybe nice. I'm going to hit you up on Discord or something to see what you think. But anyway, I'm getting out of the way. Bill, Ham Radio Texonics, K0WHW. Thanks for the shout out.
Yeah, appreciate it. I think that you could actually, I think that there might be a way if you get some of those like smart bulbs and you put them in your bedroom, right? So you wake up in the morning and you're like, Node Red, you've got something keyed to Node Red, and you're like, Node Red, show me the muff, and then your all your smart bulbs start illuminating at different colors, and it creates like a myriad of different colors, and that would show you like the bands that are open at that point.
That would be not that advanced. I can visualize that, but I am not doing that. I can visualize that like against the white ceiling of my trailer. Yeah, for sure.
Show me the muff.
Done. Show me the muff.
Show me the muff.
The muff is no. Show me the muff.
Show me the muff. That's it, right there.
Do it.
You can get arrested. You can get arrested making that command. But anyway.
Well, where did you go with this? I'm talking about the maximum usable frequency out here. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Anyway, hey, thanks a lot, guys, and see you guys out there.
All right. Let's see. I think next is Digital Rancher. By the way, if I skip anybody erroneously, just give a shout out. That's my bad. I made a mistake, but I think it's Digital Ranchers next. How you doing, bud?
I am doing great. Getting ready for Orlando. Can't believe it's just a few days away.
The season is starting, man.
That's crazy.
We're going to be hanging out with each other every couple of months.
Yeah. I am looking forward to things getting kicked off. It's just kind of hectic right now, everything ready. I put out a little video this afternoon, this evening here, for folks who want to participate with Meshtastic at Hamcation. So it's got the QR codes, it's got the settings for your radio, and a little information there about how we're going to be, how we've deployed is probably the best way to talk about that. So that's pretty fun. Let's see, I've got some videos that I'm working on from Winter Field Day. I think my favorite one didn't happen at Winter Field Day, though. It's one on the way home from Winter Field Day where I made a ISS contact riding in my truck on a signal stick. So I actually got it filmed. So I'm excited to put that one out there to show people it doesn't take much to make those contacts. Mm-hmm. And other than that, it's Florida bound.
If you want, drop the QR code. Are you using the same QR code we used a couple of years ago, like the last time?
Sure, I'll drop them in the Discord. I'll drop them both in there. You bet.
Yeah. Go ahead and drop the QR codes. And just to remind everybody, one of the best things about Meshtastic is it's kind of like you're exchanging friend codes almost. Like, hey, I want to be on the channel you're on. Cool, no problem. Scan this QR code, and you scan it with your phone app. Literally the camera app, nothing special, and it will auto-update Meshtastic and add the channel to your Meshtastic programming for that node, and then your Meshtastic just starts using it. It's great. It's one of the best things about Meshtastic as far as like bringing people together to communicate. It makes it so easy.
Yeah, just make sure you say add and not replace.
Yes.
So you don't lose your other channels.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Yeah, good. So he just dropped two of them. I'm gonna bring up the whole thing here. Yeah, there you go. So those two QR codes. So that's the Hamcation 2025 channel. So you just add that to your node, and then you also add the second one, which is the YouTube channel. You just add that to your node, and you can just leave those on your node. You don't have to replace them. You can if you want to. It's not a big deal. But yeah. Oh, somebody said they lost the mic. What? Everybody stop telling, I get so many comments on people that, can you hear me? Am I still here?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
Discord for sure.
Yeah,
everybody,
no problem.
if you lose an audio, it might not be me. Refresh your page before you tell me that I have a problem. Refresh the thing. Do before telling me that there's a problem. Every time, everybody tells me like I can do something. Yes, I will fix your problem right now. Hold on.
Hey Josh, I have a question.
All right. I will. It depends on. Well, okay. Let's hear the question, and then we're gonna go back to saying hi to some YouTubers. Go ahead.
It's actually a Kenwood 75 radio question because I was trying to program the receiving, the downlink and the uplink as far as the radio wise. I can because okay. So here's the thing. I have the UV Pro and just got the Kenwood 75A. So I'm trying to program the 75A of the Chino repeater, which is the K6 OPJ. The downlink is 445.5600. The uplink is 440.5600, which is the offset of 5 megahertz, which I got everything correct. I can transmit on the Kenwood. I can receive it from my BTEC. However, if I do it reverse, my Kenwood is locked on that uplink of 440.5600, not the 445. And I actually got someone to respond back of that repeater, but I hear them from my BTEC, not on my Kenwood. You know how I can fix that?
Yeah, it sounds like the Kenwood is programmed incorrectly. The Kenwood needs to, you need to make the center frequency the receive frequency. So the receive frequency is the listed frequency, and then you set the offset. The offset then gets set, and I think it's plus or minus. I don't remember. Was it up or down? Which way did it go?
Yeah, I did that. Somehow it's not working, and I kind of feel embarrassed. I don't want to use that same repeater now because I told whoever that responded back is, hey, man, just ignore my transmitting because I'm trying to get this resolved. And the guy was actually cool.
Is it possible that you just have a bad antenna on the Kenwood and just can't receive it?
I hope not, because that's the signal stick of the 2 meter and 70 centimeters.
So if you are you're telling me that the receive frequency is the same on the D75 and the BTEC?
You know what? I'm just thinking that it's because I programmed it wrong, because I just got this radio. I'm used to the BTEC because I can just program right from the app. So I'm doing this manually, but then it's not splitting. Somehow the CT and the tone, if the plus and minus, it just keeps screwing up. So it's only locked on one frequency, which is
you don't have the offsets turned on. You got to go turn on the offsets. So literally, the manual on that Kenwood is very robust. So go pull out the manual on setting up a repeater, and it will explain what to do.
All right, I'm going to go try while you guys talk about the rest. I'll be back, though.
Okay, very good. All right, well, Digital Rancher, was there anything else? Did I cut you off? Is there anything else you wanted to say?
No, that's good. Thanks for giving me a minute, and look forward to seeing you next week.
Yeah, thank you, buddy. All right, next is Grayman Poda, and he gets the coveted position of me running to the restroom, so he gets the hot mic, so he gets to give you the whole Grayman. Are you ready for that?
Yeah, wow, I get the golden mic.
Yeah, I'm gonna explode. Otherwise, I will be right back.
No,
you got it,
no,
buddy.
run.
You take it.
Run. Yeah, walk. Please walk. Don't hurt yourself.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I like it. I like the enthusiasm. Go for it.
Yeah, wow. So, a lot has. Well, no, really, nothing hasn't been going on. I've been. I tried to have a video come out last week, and it blew up on me, which was a horrible thing. But I have been doing. I don't know if you guys had heard. I'd kind of launched with a couple of the guys that are doing the premieres with us before the live streams on Tuesday nights and Thursday nights. We kicked off the Ham Radio Kids Table, which is kind of trying to wind up somewhere in between technical with Coffee and Ham Radios and social with the Clubhouse, where we're just trying to encourage people, not doing the same thing in ham radio, but trying to do stuff that nobody else is doing yet, just kind of pushing the boundaries and kind of taking this, making this hobby your own, and not necessarily having to just listen to what the old coots say. So hence the name, that Ham Radio Kids Table, because that everybody knows that the family gatherings, the kids tables, where all this fun is at anyway. So that's what I've been going on there for the most part. I did do a kind of an impromptu live stream today too, from a POTA activation, and that was interesting. I think I had about 80 people watching it, which really impressed me. And hopefully was more people, interested or seeing that kind of for the first time and doing that. So that's about all I got going on. Josh, you back?
I'll talk to you, Tim.
Josh is not back, but hey, Mark, how you doing, my friend?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
Well, pretty good. Pretty good. I was thinking of some more uses for the Boondock Echo.
Did I hear Boondock Echo, Tim?
You absolutely heard Boondock Echo. And since Josh is still not back yet, Mark, do you want to go ahead and talk to us about the Boondock Echo?
I will. It has been one heck of a busy month. I knew that going in. I took on that project management gig, but I finished laying off everybody Friday. So as soon as everybody's checks clear, I'll be out of that one. But it's good because it's too hard trying to start a business and do other work. But then I have to go back to the other work because, you know, I need money for rent or mortgage, in fact. So it's been crazy busy. But our radios were at the Rolex 24 for all you racing fans. We were sitting there live transcribing 6 channels, and the team liked it so much they want us to do 16 next time. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But that also prompted us to want an easier way to remotely control the radio interfaces, and we settled on the Uniden BC125AT. It can pick up the audio channels just fine. And by the way, this is all legit. All the teams have to broadcast their audio. We're just turning it into live text. But yeah, so now we can control those. And as soon as we get that integrated into our site, that will be an add-on for everybody. You know, you just plug a BC125AT into your computer, and we can set the frequency on it for you. So from your phone, you go to your Boondock Echo interface, and you say, I want to listen to police or whatever. You know, you populate it, we'll program the radio, and off you go. So that'll be kind of exciting. I know you've been waiting for that feature. You haven't, but hopefully somebody will like it.
Very good.
And then
Thought Casey would have had that programmed last month.
No, we didn't think of it because the team requested much more expensive scanners, the SDS 100s. So we programmed those.
Oh,
and
that's a good scanner. That is a good scanner.
It's an expensive scanner.
It is, but it's good though. I like them.
Yeah, it was a great scanner, but then we decided we can do this for a fraction of the price. So that's where the BC125AT comes in. And we actually integrated that on Thursday of last week. So with the project management wrapping up, I was thinking about getting back to some videos. What do y'all want to see? Want to see me hack something? Want to see me... I don't know.
We always
What's
like
the internet
hacking.
need?
Go line by line over the Boondock Echo firmware?
Did I hear Boondock Echo?
Go line by line over the Boondock Echo software. Man, there you go. There you go.
No.
What an exciting video.
No. I love it. And I'm sure it's commented so just religiously, right? The comments are probably just...
Yeah, the comments actually not bad. It's all open source. I mean, y'all can go steal it and go do your own thing. One of the things we've been real keen on is having your own servers, so you don't have to send your data to us. And we think we've got that figured out too. Because when we were doing the Daytona thing this past weekend, we didn't want to go up to the cloud just because it was going to take more time through the Starlink terminal. So we've got some fun stuff coming out. We just need the bandwidth to do it. So that's the goal this year. Get enough money so that we can all be full-time on this gig.
I would love that. I'd love to see that for you. That's amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah, then I can stop firing people. I mean, people would really appreciate that, I can tell you.
They would. I've heard that.
I'll tell you, that guy who I caught, and I think there's a little bit of discrepancy in the way that I described this guy. I'm a contractor. He's not. He was an employee.
Yeah.
So if you're contracting and you're bill, I mean, that's a different can of worms. This particular instance, he was expected to be on the clock doing work for us, and he was not.
Yeah. You guys jumped ahead a little bit. I'm guessing, is Kyle already went?
And Don didn't go either.
Yeah.
Oh, I think
I'm sorry. I went on the fly. I was given the microphone, Josh, and I apologize, but Mark was already in the chat talking, so I figured, throw it to him.
Didn't go either.
Can I say one thing? Is Mike here tonight?
No.
NAYO Mike is.
No. Murder Mike.
No, man, you know how quiet it is?
He had a video this week, let me tell you.
He did.
Oh, the APRS video?
Yeah.
Yep.
That was epic.
Yeah. That was fun. I did watch that too. So okay, let's go back. That was my bad because I skipped over Dawn. So my apologies. Dawn, what have you been up to, man?
I bought a truck.
Oh, what'd you get?
A FT or a Ford FT1 or boy, man,
it's not a radio, Don.
John, what are we talking about?
F-150. It's the F-150 XLT.
Oh, okay. XLT with a
Yeah,
short cab, long bed, short bed. What do you get?
Crew cab and the short bed.
Okay.
Mainly the van, and I don't know if y'all remember the thing I had with the van, but the van had a major issue with one of the tires, and it ripped out a lot of the electrical underneath the van that connected up the ABS. And between that and a couple of other things, it was going to cost thousands to get fixed.
So, I hope you appreciate the F-150 is one of the easiest platforms to set radios up in. Have you experienced that? I've found that the F-150 is a breeze.
Well, there was a guy that did a video with this Shane dude.
Yeah.
And he referred to me as Soap. And in that video, I totally remember. No, but that was a good video. And it goes over that truck. And I'm really looking forward to doing some of the things that Shane showed in that video, or your video, obviously. Mm-hmm. But so, yeah. And the other thing is I've gotten a couple of things. I've gotten that Intellitron when Jason had that deal with Gigaparts, and somebody asked for it, and they were selling them for $150. So I got one, not just thinking, oh, okay, it's a fiberglass mast. Boy, is that mast nice.
Yeah.
It comes as a kit, and in fact, I think I'm going to do a video on it next week. But it comes as a kit. And the kit is, it's dead simple. You just fit the clamps on is all you're really doing. And I took the opportunity while I was fitting the clamps on to go ahead and put one of those little ham stop things, or the what does he call the sky hooks? I put one of those sky hooks on.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Inside where it fit, and so I've got that all ready to go, and I think I'm going to put my 10-meter Moxon on it. I mean, it is that tough. The thickness of the fiberglass in there is just it is such a nice mast. Nice. And I really wish now that when they were on sale, I'd have bought 3 of them, because I think I'm going to lock one of them up for that, and then I want to use one for a second 2-meter antenna out here. So anyway, so there's some plans I have on that, and I just wanted to make a video on that. And then I bought an antenna yesterday, and I'm probably going to do a video on that. It's something that Tech Minds did a video on at one time. That's where I saw it, and then I found out that DX Engineering had it available, and so I went ahead and got one, and I think I'm going to do a video on that as well.
Right on. Well, Dawn, I appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out, and yeah. All right. Let's see. Dawn, was it Ed? Ed, what'd you? Yeah. What's going on, man?
Not too much, man. Hope everybody's doing all right. We're still working on my video for the FTM 150. I kind of botched it up a little bit, so I'm going to try to shorten it up.
Okay.
And also have a little fun playing with DaVinci Resolve. Also, I got a couple of other ideas. One, I like to do a video on doing FT8 on the True SDX. I just got to figure out how to do the connections on that. And another one is, actually, I saw a picture, and it was the Ham Radio Crash Course Facebook page where somebody, I think, used a charcoal grill lid as a ground plane. So I thought I'd test out the 150. Yeah, so I thought, that would be kind of cool trying that, because I have a mag mount with the cookie sheet ground plane in my shack. So I said, what the hell, give it a shot. So yeah, that's on the table. So hopefully that'll be coming up shortly. So,
nice.
And that, yeah, cool. So that's about it. Oh, quick. What was? Yeah, I had a question. I can't remember. Never mind. If I think of it, I'll type it up
Jump
in the chat,
back in. You're good. You're good.
Okay. I want to keep it quick. So I know Kyle's waiting in the wings. I don't want to.
Well, we'll see. I don't know. Let's see if is Kyle there.
I thought I saw him down here somewhere, so I don't know. Yeah, he's still there.
I'm still here.
Hey, what's up, bud? So what? Obviously, you got some stuff you're dealing with. You're working on. You'll be back to the YouTube side of it. But is there anything you want to mention? Maybe a shout out for contests that are coming up, or something that you're going to be participating in with the club?
There. I think I'll have to look at the ARL DX W and SSB is coming up. That is a really cool international contest. If you need some DX in your log, that's a good one to get on. The CW is I think in 2 weeks, and single sideband I think is in 4 weeks, maybe. I can't remember. But yeah, I'm gonna get back into the YouTube thing sometime this spring. I'm not going to be able to make it to Hamcation this year. First time I'm not going to be at that event in probably 6 or 7 years. But I will see everyone at Hamvention, and they asked me to do a Node-RED forum again. I heard that it was one of the most attended forums.
Really?
At Ham. Yeah, so they asked me back to do another one. So
nice.
We'll be doing some more Node-RED stuff in the forums at Hamvention. So look for me there. And yeah, that's about it. We're in for the contest station, we're in the process of moving everything downstairs and getting the old, we were contesting, well, we still are, on Kenwood 590s.
Oh.
And we're slowly getting to the point where we're going to migrate over to the Flexes, but there has to be a lot of things that we got to sort out, like Maestros and monitors on the depths, and how much real estate screen we are going to take up with the Smart SDR if we don't use the Maestros. So we're sorting through all of those like ergonomic things that you probably don't think of whenever you're just sitting down at your radio and hunting POTA. But whenever you're sitting in front of a radio for 48 hours straight,
right? Then you care about it a lot. Yep.
You're right. Ergonomics comes into play, and you're like, okay, is the monitor height correct? Is the seat height correct? Like, do I have all the things that on the monitor that I don't need to, like, are my eyes all over the place versus all of the things that I need to see are in the center of the screen, and all the things that I care about but don't look at all the time, and I push those to the side of the screen. So then we make templates to get all of those windows correct. So whenever a new operator sits down, and they log into N1MM, everything is the same. Every screen is the same, so it doesn't matter which station you go to; it's all the same.
That's pretty slick. I like that. Yeah, I'm about at the point where I want to like gut my whole operating position, because I am not ergonomically good with my keyboard right now. I have to redo everything, basically. I'm looking around going, this is insane what I'm going to have to do to make this work, but I think I have to do it.
And I dropped a link to Kyle's other channel. If you do have a chance, go and check it out, especially if you're into RVs and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I've got another channel that I'm still trying to get to that 1,000 subscriber mark. I've got about 860 subscribers, and if you go over there, it's all of my overlanding RV adventures, and I try and put out a video every week and just share my experiences of all the cool things that I'm doing in the RV community.
All right, well, I just dropped it. I totally did not subscribe. I feel really bad, but I've amended that. I'm subbed, and everybody should go sub too. So go do that now, guys.
Well, thank you. And I know that you don't have an RV, so thank you.
No, I do want to get one. My problem, half of it is like I may have to store it from time to time, which I'm not excited about doing. I've got to clear out my garage because I think a trailer like yours might fit in my garage, and I know my truck would be happy with that because it's not really strong. It doesn't create a big wind tunnel problem. Like it doesn't create a lot of turbulence. It's fairly aerodynamic. So I'm actually going to look at something like that in the future, I think.
You know what's cool about that community is it's the overlanding and the square drop and the teardrop community. It's like ham radio. Like you get into that community and everyone just wants to help everybody. Everyone is looking out for everyone. It's a tight knit community. It's great.
Hey, Kyle.
Go ahead, Grayman.
Yeah, I was good. Kyle, are you going to go to Hiker Fest in? I think it's in September.
Yep, I am. There's a big hiker community festival this year. It's going to be Land Between the Lakes, and it's 2 weeks before Hiker Fest. And so I'm going to be in Kentucky the second weekend in September, or is it October? No, it's September. And then I drive to Indiana the 2 weeks after that and go to Hiker Fest. Yep.
So that's literally in my backyard.
Yeah, you should come over and hang out.
I will do that.
And
cool.
I've been watching that Kyle's channel for a while, and there's lots of things on there. It's not all 100% hiker trailers. There's all kinds of things that are of interest to anybody that's doing camping or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I highly recommend it.
Well, I like it for the adventure, like the story, right, of going out and doing something. I know you probably feel that way too, Kyle. I don't know.
Yeah. And also, I'm trying to bring ham radio stuff into the RV world. I'm trying to get everyone to adopt like Anderson power poles. Someone says, I hate this 12-volt accessory plug that goes in my cigarette lighter for my refrigerator. I'm like, I have a solution for you. It's called Anderson power poles.
Kyle's over here trying to get people to get on a ham radio, and they're like, I went to the outdoors to use Starlink to watch football. How dare you, Kyle?
Yeah. If I could just get them into ham radio. I'm still trying to figure out that crossover drug or that crossover conversation to be like, hey, you like to overland? I've got another hobby for you that will take all of your time and all of your money.
Yeah, I'd like to spend your money for you. Let me do that. How can I help?
And if I could mention one other thing, Adam's not here, so hopefully I'm not stepping out of line, but Adam designed for me a XT60 PDU, which I have been wanting. Okay. I've looked everywhere, and he went out and you know Adam. I mean, he went out and did the circuit board, and it's exactly what I was looking for, and so I'm really I mean, I've got a mixture of the Anderson Power Pole and the XT60. Some of the amplifiers I've gotten recently have the XT60 on them, and so having that PDU or the availability of that PDU is really nice.
Nice.
XT60 is the way to go.
Comment?
Go ahead, comment.
Go for it.
Can we all just agree Adam is a hell of a good guy?
Oh, dude.
Yes.
You got to spend some time with
That's
Adam to
easy.
realize how just decent of a human being he is. I got jerk things I say all the time, but Adam is generally just if there's a couple of ways you could go in a conversation, he generally just goes the nice way. He's just a nice guy. He's literally one of the best human beings I've experienced. No question. I say that without regard. Just totally open to you all. He's such a good guy. And the love and caring he showed to my sons in teaching them how to fish. Mind you, they know how to fish, but going the extra level and be like, oh no, this is how you fly fish. And the patience the man has, as I know my sons, right? And the patience he shows in everything he does is just, it's phenomenal. He's a great human being. Fantastic guy.
Yeah, I dropped the image for that in the chat.
That is
pretty
nice.
Cool, Don.
That is really nice, Don. Holy smokes. Look at this, guys. Look at that.
Wow.
That's fancy.
That is really nice. That is really nice. The only problem I've had with those connectors, my amp for my 705 has those connectors, and it's too dang tight. It's just she's too tight, fellas. It's really like to the point that I feel like I'm gonna rip out the connectors or break the solder connection. It's a little aggressive, some of these connectors.
Yeah, every one of them I've used has been easy to plug in and plug out, but when it's in there, it stays in there. And I haven't. The problem I've had with Anderson power poles is that over time they start to come out the back. And I don't like. In other words, I start seeing copper coming out of either the ground or the power.
On which one?
And on the Andersons.
Really?
Like
I've never had
they're sneaking because you're plugging them in and out, and that's forcing that little thing inside. Or at least that's my theory. Because I do on the 891, I will plug it into one of my battery boxes, and then I'll use it, and then I unplug the battery box, take it in and charge it, and then I come back out and plug. And over time, it has just gotten further and further out. But anyway, I mean, that doesn't say that this doesn't have its own challenges. But I have not seen a PDU with fuses. And I was talking to Adam about it, and he was showing me various options, of things, and they're all geared to the RC community, and none of them are fused. And I didn't know Adam was doing this, so I mean, I'm shocked, but very happy as well.
Yeah. Very good. Where do you get that? Do you have a link for that?
For what?
For the PDU.
You get it from Adam. This is what I'm saying.
It's on his website?
He's gonna send me.
It's not on his website.
No, he's gonna send me one to try out.
Okay.
And that's why I'm saying, boy, I hope I'm not gonna get in trouble. But he's sending me one to try out, and I don't know what his plan is. Maybe all he'll ever do is release the circuit board and leave the rest of it up to you. I really don't know what his plan is.
Okay.
So I'm sorry. I wanted to brag about.
I see what it is.
Work.
I see what it is.
Don,
this guy's showing off. All right.
It's okay. Don, there's only a couple people watching anyway, so I doubt anybody.
Sure.
There's nobody watching.
So I'm sure Adam.
No, nobody pays any attention to this show, right?
There's like one or two people.
No, Adam's email's not going to get flooded with people asking how they get that or anything like that. Well, he's literally hiking on. By the way, he totally undersold it. Mark, I know Mark really well. Both of them I know really well. This is an incredibly difficult hike that they're on. That's 10 miles out to the summit with an 8,000-foot gain and then 10 miles back out. That is a crazy. That's a serious hike, and they're doing it. They got to pack in all their water. That sucks. That sucks bad.
Is he going to stay overnight, or is he just?
Oh, they stayed overnight.
One shot.
No, they already did it. Yeah. They did it this morning.
So it's even more because he's got to carry in the tents and everything.
Oh yeah, no, they hoofed it out.
Wow.
They hoofed it out this morning, made it, activated it, then came back to a different summit, and the summit that they're camping on right now is the one that they called in from there.
Wow.
All right. Yeah, God bless my knees, no question. I literally now have to put on a knee brace for going down. My problem is going down. I can go up, no problem. It's the down that kills my knee with my ACL replacement. It's not good, guys. It's not good. I think it's actually more the meniscus than the ACL, but anyway, doesn't matter. I'm still going to get out there.
Are you get some walking sticks, Josh?
Oh, I already have them, buddy. I already have them.
Okay. I remember doing Diamond Head when I went to Hawaii, and I just charged her up there with my sons. I was in my 50s, and really no problem. Coming down, I had to come back down backwards. My kids were laughing at me. They were helping me because I had literally fried my hamstrings to like exhaustion. I could not come down forward.
Yeah, To add to a little bit, like I have very strong legs. It's not a problem of strength. It is literally the knee. It just totally cannot. It starts like will not take the weight. It's bad. It's really bad.
Right. I get you.
On the down.
So
the down is the problem.
yeah,
it's always the problem.
The down is the problem.
Yep.
So yeah, even like when I'm out in Arizona going up the with Red Summit, like going up. I go slow. It's it's a challenge, but I get up there. Coming down is a bigger challenge.
Jamskin is saying, "What is NAD plus?" I have fish oil. I take fish oil, but what is a NAD plus? I don't know what the hell that is. I think it's a supplement.
I've got a suggestion. Have you tried being lazy? Because see, I don't do any of this hiking or being active stuff, and I have the knees of a 20-year-old.
Yeah, I bet. No, I've always been really bad on my knees throughout my entire life. Trekking poles and knee braces, yeah, that I'm officially of that community now. I was trekking poles. My tent is a trekking pole tent, so I always have trekking poles. But I now have a brace. I'm gonna have to do the brace. But there you go. I do want to show this. So I think did we miss any YouTubers? Feel free to jump out and say something. If I missed you, that's my bad. We do have a wild N8YO in the chat. I think you might have heard I was doing CW, but I was doing it on the on that vicious machine. Did we got the mic around? What's going on with the mic? I haven't heard from him in a while.
How's it going, Josh?
Yeah, man. Good. Glad to hear you. Are you coming out to Hamcation?
I will be there. I'm flying very late on Wednesday night.
Oh, nice. Okay, well, you're getting in there before me. I'll be there on Thursday. Cool.
All right, man. I'll see you.
I will see you. I'll be happy to see you, buddy. All right, very good. Anybody? Okay, I think I got the YouTubers. So I want to show this. My kids have been doing Vex IQ, which is a robot competition. There are a couple of robot competitions. One of them, like Lego, does one. Vex though uses it's almost like erector set pieces. They're more on the line of like flat pieces with holes, and you use little connectors to like bridge them together. But this year's contest is you got to take that yellow ball and you got to put it in the goal, and there's two heights of the ball of like the goals. And so this is my oldest son's robot. So I'm going to play it. Let's see if you'll hear it on YouTube. But it'll pick up the ball.
Now put it in the bottom one.
And so he can I don't remember.
No, the controls are crazy.
Yeah, we had to readjust the controls, but so they conveyor it in. So he built those two conveyor belts.
Okay, catapult it. Oh, no, catapult it. Bring it back a little bit.
Awesome. We worked this out today, and they had problems with their design. By the way, my son developed like most of the design for that. And it's a lot of kids, right? It's a lot of kids, and they got really strong ideas. And I would come to these meetings, and they're so passionate about it. But the problem is they're relentless with the trying. It is, as an engineer, I spent so much of the time just slowing them down to be like, have you vetted this fully? Like, where are the failure points? Where is it good, and where is it wrong? And if we go change this thing, what impacts will it have to the other things that we're already doing? They're so like, let me go fix this one thing and then see what it does. And then that breaks something else. And then, so now we got to start adjusting things. And it's wild to deal with kids when it comes to engineering problems like these. But it was a lot of fun. I'm very impressed with how he dealt with his vehicle. But then while I was going live, like literally before I went live, my wife sent me a message. Like they ran the catapult, they shot it, and then it immediately like exploded. The whole robot exploded. And so I've got to go figure out the story. But they were there I left. They went at 4 p.m. local time, and they got back at 8. So they got back, a little bit after we got into the live stream, the after chat. And so I have to go figure out what the story is. But they have a competition tomorrow. So I'm going to go to it. I'm going to go edit some videos because I got a lot of stuff to edit. But, yeah, I was really impressed. I was really impressed by my oldest on this one. Also my youngest. He was amazing. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, what does Leia have to do? Because she talks about it on the podcast, and it sounds like she's either organizing it or working with it or supervising it.
Leia
or
is
something.
literally coordinating the entire thing. Leia is
Yeah,
not
okay.
an engineer. Okay, so what coordination means here? So if you bring all these kids together, right? So we're very fortunate in that my kids have been doing this for a couple of years now, so we have a number of these kits. The VEX IQ kits are really expensive. The parts, it's like motors, it's elastics for catapult type stuff. There's pneumatics, there's springs, there's all these parts, and it's like goes way beyond Lego, way beyond Lego. And they always have like an engineering problem. And let me see if I can go back a little bit. Can I do that? Let me see.
Okay.
Let me see if I can
Now,
get it.
this square.
Hold on. Okay. So those two squares right there. The challenge is get that yellow ball in each one of those squares, and ideally you get it in all of them, like the two on the left and the two on the right. So your bot has to traverse, and most of them are tank driven. But when you have to pick up the ball to get it into a feeding receptacle and then give it into the low one, well, that's easy. You could just use a conveyor belt to do that, and that's what they have. They have this little modified treadmill. But then when you add a catapult option or something to get it up into, oftentimes the ball is impeded by the very thing that you just brought the ball into the system with. Edison's bot is the most perturbed by all the little things that are touching the ball before they launch the catapult, which is why it kind of lands short. But Ben, he was like, oh, I got an interesting idea. Like, what if my conveyors are lower so they're just barely touching the ball? And the ball and the little fins just kind of like they touch the very bottom of the ball to bring it up. And it's a really solid idea. It's like really, really effective. And basically my job was to explain that they're too chaotic and they need to break it all down and make it like a solid base, because nothing is rigid. Like, these kids are just throwing stuff together and they're trying to build this thing out, and they did it, but there's no rigidity to it. So Leia's part of it was she had a little bit of like videos from VEX IQ, and VEX IQ gave a couple of like demo bots, but the demo bots only did the lower boxes. So the kids had to figure out how to modify their plans to get into the upper boxes, and that's where the catapults got involved. And they designed all of that themselves, and Leia helped in the sense of like, her thoughts, will this work, will this won't work kind of thing. And then they just went off and built it. And I'm really impressed. All these kids are like super, super amazing.
Well, I heard her talking on the podcast, like she was helping some other kids with some of their problems. And so I was thinking she had like a role in the whole thing, not just with your kids, but like corralling some of the other kids, if you will, or assisting or something like that. Maybe I misunderstood.
She's literally like the teacher of the class. Like, she's running the whole class.
Okay.
It's not a school per se, but like she's literally guiding them to get ready for competition. And then we take them to the competitions and they compete. And that's what they're doing. They're taking the ball and they're trying to put it in those holes. It's really interesting watching kids approach some of these problems, because a lot of them are just like, let's throw everything at it. And there's not a lot of like, there's no methodical process. It's just complete chaos. And for my wife, she's not an engineer. So a lot of like the way she approaches it of like, let's try it, but also like, do you think it will work? Versus my mindset is always, no, let's try it and prove it doesn't work. And the problem is that these kids, they're like they get really strongly attached to an idea, and breaking them of that idea is kind of difficult, to the point that they'll keep adding parts and bits and bops until it will kind of do what they think it should do. It's just like honestly, it's just like engineering, like with adults, but they're just really upfront about it, right? So when I'm talking, like Leia really only brings me in when there's like a big problems, and usually it will consist of, let's take this all back down to the basics. this thing does. What does it do correctly? And they'll mention, what is it doing not correctly? And they'll mention, it's like, okay, show me how it functions. And then they'll show me how it functions. And they're like, okay, I see a couple of things that don't look right. You tell me what you think. And, the catapult is obstructed by the conveyor belts, which are too hard pressing on the ball. So that's taking away the thrust of the catapult. And they're like, oh, yeah, no, we didn't really think about that. And so then we start modifying those things. It's a really interesting process. It just, I'm so busy that I can't run the whole thing like Leia does.
Right. Yeah. And I like I said, it seemed like she was working with more than just your kids on the thing. And it sounded like she's putting a lot of time and effort into this.
Oh, she is.
Not that you aren't, but I just meant that.
Oh, no, I don't
really
put in. No, Dawn.
She's doing too.
Dawn, no question, she puts in a tremendous amount of effort, a huge amount of effort. All the parents are like way more involved than I am. I'm brought in as kind of like expert consultant when there's a big problem, and it's usually the same thing. Like I let the kids work it out because it's so. We've talked about it in the past. As a software engineer, one of my biggest assets was the Chewbacca analyst, the cardboard analyst. I literally, when I was a first year engineer, I had a senior engineer who was kind of an asshole, but a lot of the things he told me was totally right. And he's like, I want you to go explain your code to Chewbacca. Go stand next to the cardboard analyst, and I want you to explain the code. And literally me talking through my code explained my own problems because I was like, oh, this doesn't make any sense. What am I doing here? And it literally solved multiple problems. But, you kind of have to go through that, whether you're an adult out of college or a kid. They have to be allowed to find the problem and actually see it. And not just get committed to this must be right, and we must make this work, and provide them a way to fix it, right? And that's more or less what I get pulled in for when it's like a big problem.
Yeah, it looks really impressive. Now, is there a reason why you have to catapult it and you can't lift the ball up to the second height?
That's a great question, dude. So, oh my gosh. Okay, let me give this. You know what? Let me see if I can find this actually. So there is a guy on YouTube. Is it this one? Hold on. Yeah. All right. So let me show you this, guys, because you think of VexIQ isn't cheap, and so here's where I'm going with this. So VexIQ, it's relatively complicated, and the one thing I'll say about Leia is she lets the kids modify the design. Like literally go nuts. You are driving this. The kids are in charge, right? But if you just search VexIQ, let me show this. Ben Lipper. Okay. So this guy, this kid, total respect to him, is a mechanical engineer, and he creates designs that these robot clubs can buy from him. So he sells these designs to kids. And then these clubs, which are like actual businesses, there are I will say Chinese kids, Chinese families that are paying $400 a month to be a part of the robot clubs in the San Gabriel Valley, that whole area. And we've competed with them. And they all roll out with the same bot design because these companies are literally like kind of milking money out of these families to get these kids in these winning competition teams, and they're literally using this guy's. Is it Ben? No, it's not Ben. Hold on. There's another creator. Is it? It can't be. Is it him? I might be wrong.
So what are those other?
He only has 7,000 subs. It's not him. There's somebody else. There's a YouTube creator that is full time on YouTube making a ton of money. Oh, it might be Lipper. It might be him. So young kid, he's got all these examples of these bots that he builds, and he sells the designs for it. Dude, RC forklift, such a good idea. That is such a good idea. Actually, I gotta text my wife. Hold on. I gotta make. I don't want to mess this kid up because he only has like 7,000 views. By the way, there's no hate. This kid's coming up with cool designs. Who is the Vex IQ creator with the designs? Okay, so Leia will tell me here shortly. Maybe, I don't know. Stop. God. Anyway, I think it's him. But he only has like 7,000 views. But his people are paying him real money, and he's now doing it as a full-time job, just creating designs that will like solve these problems. So right now, it's like a season, almost like Fortnite has seasons. So right now it's called Rapid Relay. So let's just watch Rapid Relay for a second. This is not what I want. Nope, this is not what I want. I want to see his bot that he is selling. Hold on, let me find it. Let's see. Okay, so here's
Ben robot. Go ahead and click it. I'll send you a bunch of details on
all right, so the same thing you saw.
And all that good stuff.
Yeah, so he's got a multi...
This robot is super cool because of how powerful the intake is. This
the
is
intake
the
is...
most
Oh, my
powerful
gosh.
intake I've built on a Vex legal robot. It's got 3 motors. Half of the motors that we get are on the intake here. It's geared 1 to 5, meaning it's spinning 5 times faster than the
that's
motors,
what they're
and
trying
it
to
is
do
just cooking.
in
I mean, you can
competition.
see it trying to pick up these balls. The goal was to get it so that it gets it from the ground into the catapult and then into that goal as fast as possible. So we put basically as many motors as we possibly could on the intake. We have 2 still on the drivetrain, 1 on the catapult.
I
this robot,
see.
we want to keep it simple, no pneumatics, no nothing.
Pretty smart. Anyway, so that's like his whole channel, right, is doing this. And he has companies, these little, robot education farms where parents are like, got to get the kids in robots, and they're going to pay $400 plus a month to be a part of this club. And so Leia's whole angle is this is just one of the aspects of the Chinese club. You don't have to necessarily be a member. There is a cost, but it's not anywhere over like $100. It's not even close to that.
And I'm sorry, what are the Indians paying?
The Indians? I don't know. I don't know.
No, around here you should see. I mean, they pay for their kids to go to these things after school, math, science, the whole 9 yards. It's just like what you're saying with the Chinese. I mean,
don't get me wrong. I pay a ton of money for my kids in after school projects and stuff like that. Like no question. I have no problem with that. But like the problem I have is that a lot of the stuff that the kids are doing are just copies of designs that other people made instead of them actually designing it.
Right.
So
yeah,
it's turned into you go to one of these competitions and you get a lot of the same bots because they're these like proven bots, and these groups want to win, which is great. Like winning's a lot of fun. The problem is that none of these kids design these bots. They're built. It's Lego. They're building a plan that somebody put in front of them, which to me is like that's not the point.
It's like they're plagiarizing. I don't know why they couldn't apply the same kinds of rules that you would for plagiarism. If you're going out and buying something, that's the same as going and buying an essay off the internet.
I guess, like, at the same time, I'm not at all mad at that creator. I think that's whatever. Because honestly, I think that kids don't know better. I think that a lot of kids don't know how to design something. I think a lot of kids don't know what they would do if they had to be in that position. And if you got a group of kids that just can't design, take a plan for somebody else and build it and see if you can modify it and make it better. That's cool. I have no problem with that. But I do like the way Leia looked at it. It's like, no, you have to design this, kids. Here's the baseline bot. It does one thing. It will put balls into the lowest score, which you can compete with, but if you want to get that upper box, then you're going to have to add the parts to it. And my kids and the other kids were like, absolutely, we're totally in on this, and they did, and they're doing it, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun for the kids and for the parents.
I will say, as much as I am a Pinewood Derby parent, I have done a decent chunk of work on some Pinewood Derby cars in the last hour. I'll just say that. The problem with Pinewood Derby is that like the scouts are like, no, they can't use power tools or anything like that. It's like, I'm not going to sit down with my kid and have him saw on a piece of wood for an hour trying to figure out how to make it straight. It's like, let's get out the belt, the bandsaw, and just be done with it, and then I'll hog it out, and here you go nuts.
Do they still sell them in like squares, and you have to carve it out?
They do. They do. And
I know there's.
When I was a kid.
Go ahead.
So when I was a kid, you got the block of pine, and it always had the notch. It always had the notch where like the quote unquote driver was supposed to be.
Yes.
Now they don't do that. It's just a straight block. And I was like, yes, finally, because now what you do, and here's the spoiler if you want to win at Pinewood Derby, you don't use the side with the axles cut, because those axles suck. The little grooves that they do, don't do that. Mm-hmm. Take your bandsaw and then run it through the top side, and that's now your vehicle. And so that's what we did. We took the bandsaw and we cut off the top piece, and that top piece became the vehicle. And Ben and Edison's cars were like the best, no question. They were the best rollers on the entire the entire competition.
Yeah. I remember when I was a kid that we had to go in, and you first of all, you had to be qualified for your knife, right? You had to have that card. But then in order to do the Pinewood Derby, you had to literally whittle that car into the shape.
No, I never had to do that. I grew up with coping saws. We had coping saws.
I did it in the 80s and used a jigsaw.
Yeah, we hogged it all out.
I was much earlier than that.
Yeah.
60s.
Yeah. So I can only imagine what that would have looked like. But when I was a kid, it was, you'd hog it out with a jigsaw and a bunch of other stuff. Bandsaw's the way to go. I don't care what anybody says. You're not going to put the kids in front of a bandsaw, but oh my gosh, it makes it so much easier. Now, Tom G says, the key to Pinewood Derby is to route out the center and load it up with lead so that it has more mass. Cover the lead with wood. The problem is, I'm not putting a goddamn scout on a freaking router, my guy. I'm not doing that. Router is like one of the scariest implements you can have in your shop other than in a bandsaw. So, yes, I want to route out. I want to take like 50% off the top and just use the top piece and then route it out. But now it's like I'm running as an adult at that point because I am so far above everybody that's competing. I got to be on my own league.
Yeah, there were guys that got disqualified when we were doing it for putting nickels and stuff in them.
No.
Carve out the stuff, and then they would put the nickels and stuff in the front of it, so it was front heavy rather than. And all they were doing was weighing the car to make sure it was the same weight, but it would actually be balanced differently. And
so it's
and they got disqualified for that crap.
So the rules now for scouts are 5 ounces. The car total weight should be 5 ounces. And there's actually a really good video. Oh God, who is it? It's the huge YouTube science guy. Jeez, my kids.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Anyway, he's got a video that explains the squirrel guy. Yes, the squirrel guy. Who? Somebody's gonna post it in the comments in like 2 seconds. Mark Rober, thank you, Mark Rober.
There he is. Yeah.
So Mark Rober did a video about like how to win at Pinewood Derby. And so the basic rule is the balance point of the car should be 1 inch, depending on the texture of the track, in front of the rear axles. And so the concept is, if your car is on the track and you have most of your weight close to the back, like towards the rear axles, when eventually the car drops the bottom and it rounds out, this rounding out part, you have more kinetic potential energy that becomes real, transverse into physical energy as it breaks through the flats. And that's what gives your car a boost and and brings you through. So I have, you know what? I'll show you. I got that video too. Hold on, I got that video. So this car, particularly Ben's car was sick. It was so sick. And we almost, yeah, this is it. Okay. So we Ben's car almost won the entire pack, but it was so dangerous because we did a 3-wheel modified car. Only 3 wheels touched the ground. So like the third wheel is only slowing you down. If you think about it, it's all gravity. So why don't you just not use the third wheel? So there's a way you can build the car that the third wheel is just floating. It's not connected to anything. Again, Mark Roper talks about this. So let's see. I think this might be it. Yeah, right? Seriously, Jamscan knows what's up. All right, let me see if I can play this.
Okay.
I don't know which car this is. We'll find one of them. We'll find a video that has my kid's car in it. Yeah, that's Ben's car, the black car that was in the second lane. So watch. Where is it? You see the cursor? Kind of. Watch the second lane from the left. Second lane from the left.
Go ahead.
And then watch where the car hits the bottom. It's probably going to be like the last one that hits the bottom, and then watch how it pops out. Boom. There's his car. And it didn't even stay in the lane. Once it at the end. That was Ben's car. So there you go. That's how you win it at Pinewood Derby.
Nice.
All right. I've answered all the questions for dads, apparently, at the end of the show.
Well, I have an antenna question.
I would love a ham radio question, a little palate cleanser. Go ahead.
Okay, so I've got BNC adapters on all my HTs because I switch back and forth between antennas. What's a good BNC rubber duck antenna for when you just want to have something you don't need a lot of gain, but you don't want to have to take the adapter off and start fooling around with the SMA because those have a way of wanting to break off and unthread, and just want to leave the adapter on, just leave it.
Smiley. Get do you just want like a good bang around antenna, and then you could put like a higher gain antenna on?
Yeah, just Smiley, just make a rubber duck because I got 2 of those.
No. So let me So let me go up here. So I'm actually kind of the KM5 ACK world of like just have a beater antenna. Nope, that's not what I wanted.
KM4 ACK.
KM4 ACK. Thank you. That's right. KM5. That's not right. So anyway, so if you look at some of the like these guys, you can get them in BNC. These little, it's just a coil of wire, right? So this is your beat up antenna, whatever. But then when you get to where you're going, that's when you put up the half wave vertical or whatever other antenna, right?
Hey, Luce, I'm not actually on YouTube. Let me go back and look at what you're holding up.
Yeah, I was on aircraft.
It's on a website.
Let me find. Amateur radio. That's what I want. There you go. So a lot of these antennas are just like nice little higher quality rubber ducks. And so like, for instance, the mini rubber duck for 2 meters, they've got one for 220. They've got one for 440. They got dual banders, all that stuff. But if you click on these guys, I think you can say BNC. Yeah, you can. And then you can get that on BNC. So the idea is that that's your just beat up antenna. That's the thing that like Hamfest, local stuff, local talk, whatever. But if you actually need to get out, that's where you switch over to like a half wave vertical antenna or like a J pole, something along those lines. Is that what you're talking about? Am I? dialed
Yeah,
in?
no, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Because I do have two Smiley antennas, but they're the extendable whips, and and a chest rig, they're gonna get ripped off. They're gonna get broken in half. So this is perfect. No, that's exactly what I was asking. So awesome, thank you.
Yeah, and they make really good antennas. It'll be even that little coil, that's a little squat thing, is probably going to perform better than most of your dummy loads, your rubber ducks that you get with the stock antenna.
Cool, because I see them like the rip-off Nagoyas on Amazon that are BNC, that are just rubber ducks, but they're junk.
All right, so here's my hot tip, and I'm making a video on this really shortly. So this is for everybody that's still stuck around, all 163 people. I think okay, so there was an antenna that was a clear winner of my handheld antenna videos that I did, like all those competition, when I was making, I took all these antennas out to the park and I would communicate back into my home station. The two winners were the Smiley half-wave 2-meter antenna and the MFJ Long Ranger. Does everybody remember the Long Ranger?
Yes.
You could not buy this thing. Once I made the video on it, it was constantly out of production. Or not out of production, sold out constantly. It is that good. There's no question this is one of the best antennas you can put on a handheld. For 2 meters, so it's not dual band, right? Okay. There's a link in the video description to Gigaparts. I'm going to get that link. Hold on. Let me find that link. Gigaparts started selling a brand called Intellitron.
Right.
And it's basically all the Chinese stuff that MFJ was selling. That's basically what it is. Where the heck is my link? What's going on here? Oh, no, I'm supposed to. Okay, hold on. Let me get that. There it is. Okay, got it. Hold on. Okay, so this is my page on Gigaparts. Where is it? It's not there. Okay, I'll drop the link. If you go to Gigaparts, let me find the link for the. It's not on it. It's supposed to be on there. Damn it. All right. Okay. Anyway, Intellitron. So if you go to Intellitron antenna, and if you scroll down, where is it? I may have to go grab it. It's like the 71. Is this it? I think this might be it. Yes, this is it. Okay. So the Intellitron HA1711S SMA male, and they also have the female version of it. Look at this antenna, kids. This is the Long Ranger. For anybody who has a Long Ranger, this is it. Have you seen this antenna? Do you know what I'm talking about? Anybody? Feel free. Dive in.
I saw your review of it, and I think
the Long Ranger. Yes.
Yeah, I think years ago I had one.
Yeah.
Because I think that's an old antenna. That's not. In other words, it's been around a long time. Because
it has. So well. It has. Yeah, they do not make a BNC version. You're right. They don't make a BNC version. But the Intellitron brand is basically everything MFJ made. Available right now at Gigaparts. And that includes this, now they're calling it the HA1711S. Good antenna. Fantastic half-wave antenna for 2 meters. One of the best you can buy. So there you go. $16. $16. Now, you're not going to walk around with this. Like, this is not a bang it about, smash it up and then, take it out and do a POTA with. This is, you're going to hike out with a Smiley or something or just leave the rubber duck on your radio. Seriously, leave the rubber duck on your radio. Then you're going to hike out, and you're going to use this as your get-out antenna. This is going to be the one you want. So drop the link in the video description to check out the page, and you want the HA1711. That's the one you want.
So, just curious, do you think that mast that I'm talking about was an MFJ product? Because I've never seen MFJ.
It might be. Which one was it? What, you know what it's called? I'll look it up.
It's an Intellitron mast, 34-foot mast.
It's probably a pretty good chance. It's probably pretty good.
I mean, I never saw them or saw a kit that was sold by MFJ for a mast. This is a kit.
Okay, let me search mast. What? Intellitron mast.
You had it up just a minute ago when you put Intellitron in. It was showing up.
Is that it? The telescopic fiberglass?
Yeah.
100%. That was MFJ. 100%. MFJ was selling that
as a kit, because when I got one before, it was completely built. This is a kit.
I don't even know what a kit means for a mast. What does that mean?
It means that it comes unassembled. So all it is a bunch of fiberglass poles.
But they're shoved into each other. They're shoved into each other?
Without the clips on them. And the ones that I bought from MFJ had the clips on it. Yes. In fact, they were cemented in on the MFJs.
What was the height?
The one I had was the 19 something or other.
Okay. Well,
I just remember the number as being 1919, but maybe it was 20 foot.
So for example, before we dive into that, everybody remember this MFJ power meter that is now branded under Intellitron? It's the same thing. That's the power meter that a lot of people have. It's a really good power meter. There you go. Like it's literally the same company. Everything down to the switch, the power button on and off, the little, like literally the sticker that tells you the frequency range is the same, identical. So okay, let's go back. 19. Is it the one that has the
1919?
Is it the one that has the tripod?
Well, you can get a tripod for it, but it doesn't necessarily. There's one that MFJ sold one with the tripod, and then
yes, I have this. I have this tripod. It was MFJ, and it's now Intellitron. It was $180,
yeah,
and it's an 18-foot. It's an 18-foot mast. It works great for dipoles, doublets, whatever you want. It's fantastic.
Right, but those masts there that they sell start at 34 foot, go to 43 foot, and 50 foot. And I don't think MFJ had those.
Oh.
Okay. And I'm not saying, again, all of the other things you're saying is true.
Yeah.
I'm just saying those masts, I think, are uniquely theirs, or at least something that they're doing with gigaparts outside of what they were doing with MFJ. Maybe.
Yeah,
you're right too, and I just don't know it.
I feel like they're probably all a Chinese brand. They're now being rebranded under Intellitron, and then that's how you get them. Which, by the way, I got no hate against that. Like, if this is what you need to get on the air, go nuts. Like, that's great. This is some good stuff. It's good stuff. I mean that. I think I was a longtime proponent of MFJ gets far too much hate than they deserve. A lot of their stuff is really good, and a lot of it that I have found was really good was some of the Chinese production stuff. Like, a lot of this gear is good. So, yeah, those are my thoughts. Oh, wait, we got some comments here. Let's read those comments. All right. Oh, we got the Booty. Booty, you wanna make your own comment here? My problem with the Chinese MFJ stuff was selling is that it didn't have a generic sheet metal project box. 3 times larger than electronics. What? What are you talking about?
all the MFJ stuff, like the Chinese MFJ stuff, would be normal. And then if it was something they built at MFJ, they'd use a box that was 3 times too big, and the lid on it would slice your hand open if you tried to move it around the desk.
Dude,
like,
you're totally right.
Their cases were the worst. I was like, this is like 70s Radio Shack level.
Man.
Whatever's inside might be good, then like there towards the end, it was a lot of cold solder joints, but come on with the box, it shouldn't injure you when you pick it up.
Dude, you're totally right. That's really funny. Yeah, no, I totally see what you're saying. Dangerous MFJs cut an artery on a case. All right.
Well, and when you had to repair that cold solder joint, you take the lid off, and there'd be like a family of raccoons living in the empty space inside of it.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what you want in your 811H amplifier. By the way, I'm selling my 811H. If anybody wants to, if you're local, I'll be happy to sell it to you. It's got a couple of Christmas light live streams through it, but I got an extra set of tubes for you. So hey, give me a DM. Uh-oh. An actual question right as I'm about to end. I have a question for HRCC about my NFED. When the chances is available non-emergency. Question, what is the coil of wire for that is close to the unun that does it do? What? What are you... Hold on, let me go to Discord. That's a Discord question. Unun, what does it do? Close to the unun, what does it do?
Is he asking about the choke?
Well, he dropped a link, so let me pull up the link.
Thank you, Google Translate.
Okay. The coil here he's talking about. So that softens the tuning for bands, I believe, 15 and lower. So this is a NFED halfway that is 80 meters through 10 meters. So that gives you the lower bands is what that coil does. I could be wrong. I know that Adam, if he was here, he would talk about that prolifically because it's actually included in his plans for his antennas, is using this little piece of plastic to put a couple of coils on it. I think that's what you meant, and I hope it was. Okay, got it? Yep, I did. Compensation coil. There you go. That's a better term for what I said. So yeah, that softens the lower bands, or sorry, the higher bands when you have a long wire up.
Capacity hat, yes or no?
Capacity hat? What is that?
No. Capacity hat.
Oh, no, it's not a capacity hat.
No, I'm saying should you use one, yes or no?
On a vertical, like a ATOS or a mobile antenna, yeah, capacity hats are fantastic. You should definitely use capacity hats.
Right.
Like if you had a, if there was no budget, and you wanted just the best, like beater antenna that you could put up, it's a Scorpion antenna, mobile Scorpion antenna that will do 80 meters on a coil with a big ass capacity hat. That's what you want. I've
seen those.
Yeah, that's what you want.
Those are huge.
Yep. That's what you want. And you got your Toyota Tacoma. That's a perfect little joint for the Toyota Tacoma. You'd be good. That's a good setup.
No, I'm afraid I went with the F-150.
Oh yeah, well, Breedlove steak pockets, dude. It's good. It's good antenna mount. Yep.
Yeah, I watched your video and
yeah,
I'm just
Shane
not
approved,
sure.
man. Shane approved. Shane said, "No, this is a good way to do an antenna." I went, thank you, Lord Savior Mobile Install Master Shane. I'm glad that I met your approval. What are you gonna say, Don?
I had to get rid of my best ground plane ever. I had to trade in the Jeep. Not a real Jeep. The Jeep Liberty is the best ground plane ever.
Not a
real
real
Jeep is
Jeep.
terrible.
Not a
But the
real
Jeep
Jeep.
Liberty, I'd talk to Italy without breaking a sweat driving down the road, on 40.
Italy was doing most of the work. Okay, calm down.
That could be, but yeah, the Subaru Forester is an inferior ground plane to the Jeep Liberty.
True, but
come
the
on.
The minivan blows them both away.
Oh yeah, for sure. Minivan's got to be like the best ground plane.
Yeah.
Period. No more discussions are allowed.
Yeah, unfortunately, I had to get rid of mine, and now I've got 2 aluminum cars, which, it is what it is.
I just want to shout out to the super chat that we got.
Mm-hmm.
Lord Ward Silver, open parenthesis, cousin of Long John, close parenthesis, explains the coil in his N-Fed half-wave talk. It is true. Cousin of Long John Silver. That's okay. That's very good. Ward Silver is the ham radio treasure. Like if there was a, don't get me wrong, I love so many of the little bit older creators that are making videos out there. Ward Silver is my number one. There is no one that I have done an interview with like Ward. He is so energetic and so knowledgeable. I could just talk to this man for hours. I could just record it. And it is always, it's so valuable to the amateur radio community. He is one of the best. He is seriously, and it's proven by his accolades in like authoring different books, his contesting, the myriad of other things he does. He's one of my favorite ham radio people, no question. And then he's also a band member of the Spurious Emissions, one of my favorite musical ham radio situations I've ever been to in my life. At the Hope, it was the Hope? Was it the Hope, or were we at the new hotel? I think it was the Hope. And they literally did a rock concert, and Ward Silver's playing for everybody. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Man, great guy. Yeah, everybody should go to a ham fest if you can meet Ward Silver. Hamvention is probably your best chance to meet him. You should.
Yeah, I got to go there and see if he does know Patrick.
What is a no Patrick?
Patrick is a guy in the club that keeps talking about, when I used to work with Ward Silver, we did, and I'd really like to know if he's really talking about he knows Ward Silver.
Yeah. So Martin James. Okay. So I have to I read this. I have to DF it in my brain. When setting up a vertical antenna such as an SV17, so stainless steel 17 vertical whip, do I let the wire counterpoise dangle with gravity or string it parallel? I don't even know what you mean by that. But here is what I will say. My setup is. So with a stainless steel vertical whip, I need to isolate it, right? So center pin of the coax needs to go to the whip, and it needs to be isolated from the shield. You can do that in a myriad of ways. Like a CB connector is actually a really good way to do it with like a vice grip if you're doing a park bench or something like that. Or the chameleon blank. I really like the chameleon blank. Very expensive, no question. But then everything below on the shield side, that's where you put your counterpoise, right? So there's a lot of people who are always in my ear about like, oh, I need an elevated radial. Josh, elevated radials are the best radials. You should do elevated radials. Here's my counter argument. Use an EMP cloth. Just lay out 100 feet or 100 inches of EMP cloth, like 100 feet by 50 inches. Sorry, 100 inches of EMP cloth by 50 inches of EMP cloth, and put the antenna right in the middle. And then just use, take a jumper wire, alligator clip, plug, done. That's all you got to do, and you will be fine. Now, if you want to get all the way down to 20, you might need a little bit more length because an SS17 will not do 20 out of the box. You'll be close, but you won't be perfectly resonant, particularly on like the lower frequencies. But That's literally what I do with vertical antennas, and I kill it. I have no problem right now. So there you go. Okay. Oh, St. Louis Hamfest might be a good place to meet Ward Silver. I bet. All right. I have a ton of editing to do, so that's what I'm going to do tomorrow when I'm at the Robits competition. I can't watch the Robits competition because the kids. I'm just such a gamer that I watch them and I'm like, huh? Oh, Leia's like, we got to wrap it up. She's here. We're going to shut it down. She said, call it a day. We're calling it a day, kids. All right, everybody. I think we did pretty good out there. I'm sending back the Nomad. It's got to go home. Got to go home to its master because I can't deal with it anymore. You saw the decoding of it. I'm gonna add that to the video that I end up making. Oh, N8YO, you son of a. There's Leia. That's what I.
Love you, buddy.
Cheers, man. Cheers. Oh. All right. So, by the way, anybody that asked, because I think it was somebody asked, I have an AleSmith. I got a little combo pack. AleSmith Speedway Grand Prix Chocolate Raspberry Edition. I think I've had
I love interacting with live streamers.
I think I've had 2 or 3 of these. They're like 12% beers, I just realized.
Especially when they know you personally.
I know you personally, Mike.
Oh, I'm not muted. Sorry, man.
Who are you talking to? Yourself? Was that an internal monologue?
No. A couple people here.
That is really funny, Mike. By the way, Mike, where are you at in the car situation? Did you end up getting something fast again, or what are you rolling in?
No, I got a Cadillac now. I'm good.
Dude, he outed himself. He was talking shit in the background.
Yep. I'm not on my normal setup.
That is hilarious. With everybody listening to Mike is a fantastic guy. We love him. He's one of our favorite dudes to hang out with in person, particularly when we go do ham radio. He's a great guy. And we were sad that his car was taken from him. We love you, Mike.
Love you too, Josh. Thank you.
All right. Oh, man.
Quick question.
Yeah. Last question. I got to go. Wife is literally going to rip me out of here.
Easy question for you, Josh.
Mm-hmm.
What is the color scheme you use on your waterfall on WS-JTX?
It's
down there?
I believe they call it default.
Default, okay.
Yep,
Because
default.
I've got some funky one on my MacBook. It doesn't give me colors. It gives me like the light green and cyan.
Well, you always want more cyan. Your printer can't get enough of it.
Well, I'm not printing my waterfall, thankfully.
No, default. I'm just running default.
Default, okay. Thanks.
All right, everybody, I gotta go because Leia. Well, that's what we call her now.
Oh, I wanted to comment on your comment about elevated radials because my mic wasn't working before.
Oh, okay, Steve. You're the last person. I gotta go. Go ahead.
Okay, real quick. Ground-mounted radials versus elevated radials. One of the reasons why we would use elevated radials in a design is to reduce ground losses in poor soil conductivity. So that's the main reason why we would use those. So it's not uncommon in really, really poor soil conditions where the radial field, the counterpoise field, would actually be several feet above the ground.
Steve, you're the perfect person to actually reply because here's my question, right? How does EMP cloth with a high surface area directly on the ground compare with an elevated radial for ground losses? I'm really curious because I'm using these EMP cloths and they are amazing.
It's funny you talk about EMP cloth. in broadcast or in high power applications, especially when you approach quarter wave, where the high current point is at the base of a vertical antenna.
Yes, which is how we're using them in a lot of cases.
Exactly. The idea is to be able to distribute that current evenly and as quickly as possible in that field around the base.
Yes.
In broadcast antennas, we would do that with a ground cloth or a ground screen. They're stupid expensive. It's woven copper. It's usually like a woven 12-gauge copper. It's very, very expensive.
High surface area. High surface area.
Exactly. It's exactly what it is. It's a great area to augment radials in addition to radials. So what we would do is we would normally put down the radial field, but the ground screen actually goes at the base, and the whole idea is to be able to dissipate as much of that current as evenly as possible within that field within the base of the antenna.
So how does that compare with so now let's bring it back to ham radio. Like how would you compare that? Like if I just had, again, using my example earlier, like an 80-inch by 40-inch EMP cloth versus like one single elevated radial or even multiple elevated radials, where would you put the comparison for like?
Yeah, they do two different things. Like you could still use so again, if you had poor soil conductivity, which is why you would elevate radials.
Sure. I'm in California. I have poor soil conductivity, so yes.
Yeah, I would elevate the cloth. I would do the exact same thing.
Elevate the cloth. Interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So is that like putting it on top of a lifetime table?
Yeah, like a table, a picnic table. I could do that, right?
Sure. Something. Now, it doesn't have to be ridiculously non-conductive, but yeah, you'd want a foot, 2 feet off the ground, within 6 inches or so. See, 6 inches a foot. You'd have to play with it. It depends on the ground conductivity. Depends on all your soil conductivity. How many mows you have, or Siemens, that we measure the soil conductivity.
Interesting. I'm going to do that. I'm going to find a picnic bench that is isolated, so wood basically is what I'm going to try and find, like a wood picnic bench and set up the ground, the EMP cloth on top with the clamp.
I'd actually be curious to know too. So that would
be
really
that's a really good. Yeah. That's a really good idea, because honestly, every time I throw that EMP cloth down on the ground, even the little tiny one, it kills. It does so good. It's literally my go-to antenna at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. You still need the other half of that antenna regardless.
Right.
But one of the things you want to do is to also augment that cloth with 4 or 6 additional radials. They could be anything. It could be very, very small gauge wire, but I would also put that and lay that underneath your ground cloth. This is how we do it in a high power environment. We would run the ground cloth on top of the radial field, so you could use your ground cloth to dissipate that ground field, that high current field, quickly, and then you use your radials as you go out to help dissipate and I don't want to say resonate, because that's not really the right word, but you want to be able to have as much ground efficiency, or you basically, when you add the additional radials, you're going to increase the radiation efficiency, radiation resistance of the antenna, which is what you want.
Interesting. Okay, so really good question from Way Deeney. Says raised radials normally need to be tuned, which is true. So
no,
would you need to? Okay, well then I guess that's the answer.
Absolutely, do not need to be tuned.
You do not need to tune then the cloth if you raise the cloth.
Exactly. We have a rule of thumb, but even that is Einstein, but they don't have to be tuned. They don't need to be tuned. You just need to be able to have enough counterpoise under the antenna to be able to couple efficiently the other part of that. If you want to think of it this way, the imaginary part of that antenna.
This is fascinating. I'm so glad you chimed in at the end here, because I'm going to take a lot of this stuff and I'm going to go practice it. So thank you. I appreciate that.
So that's why Simon's test today was working so well then.
I don't know.
Okay, well, Simon, you know who Simon is, VA7BIX.
Mm-hmm.
He was Ham Jazz.
Yeah.
So he was out this afternoon, and he had one of those Mylar blankets. Now, his was the reflective kind, so conductive. And he had that out. He had 12 radials underneath it, and he was getting out gangbusters.
Yeah.
I mean, just gangbusters. And he was like bragging about how great this worked, but he could not, and neither could anybody in the chat, explain why it was working so well.
Well, there you go.
Sometimes that's the magic of RF. Professionally, there are sometimes we go, done. And that's it.
I have had Ham Jazz live. If you go to the Teachers Institute live stream that we did for over 8 hours, Ham Jazz had a huge, significant portion with showing everybody his antennas and what his thoughts are on it. So, big fan. I love Ham Jazz. I made a contact with him while he was on the rowboat in the lake.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Where he lives in British Columbia, he usually goes out to a park that is almost right on the ocean.
Yeah.
So he's near salt water.
I gotta say, I really, really like the EMP cloth. I'm totally on board. I appreciate Steve's commentary on it that, like, yes, you should add that on top of like a radial system, but for like a lot of hams, having just a really good EMP cloth is, for surface area, probably better than most of the radial systems that most of y'all drop down on a vertical. Particularly, like, when you start looking at the instructions, like, use one length of wire that is a quarter wave of the frequency you're operating on. And there's a lot of you that go out and do that. That's garbage. That's trash.
A lot of misinformation out there.
Trash information. The best ground plane is as much wire, like, surface area you can put down below your antenna for a vertical.
There is a point where you get diminishing returns. So
True.
Once you hit 36 ohms, which is your magic resistance,
but like
quarter-wave vertical, that's pretty much it.
Most of these POTA guys are not finding the hypothetical.
Exactly.
The break. Yeah. They're not hitting the break-even point. Like we're so far down on the sad end of radials. They all need more radials at this point.
Do you agree with Rudy Severin's paper?
I don't even
know. Well, Rudy is a Rudy is a one of the minor deities in my book. So for the most part, yes.
Yeah, because from what he said, at a certain point you hit that diminishing return, and it's usually like if you're on 80 meters, you need 80.5 meters of wire out on the ground in order to counterpoise that deal. And he gets, once you get above that, then you don't really gain a whole lot as you add more and more radials.
It's one of these things that if it works for you, so I will just say if it works for you, that's great. You don't need 80 you don't need 80 meters of wire underneath the antenna in a traditional sense. You need to add, if you added it all up, it might come to that. You just need the amount of copper or radial, the counterpoise. You need one large enough to increase the radiational resistance, lower the ground losses, and increase the radiational resistance of the driven elements, so that you get to the impedance of roughly 36 ohms. We can measure that when we actually do a proof of performance. That's one of the metrics that we use.
All right, my wife is going to kick my ass. I got to go.
Yeah, sounds like you got to go.
Everybody.
I know that sound.
Steve, and thank you for your input at the end. Would you be down to do a live stream, hop on a live stream and just go through some of this stuff? Would you have fun with that? Would you be down?
Possibly. It's
possibly. I like it. I like it. Okay. All right. I'm going to bug you.
That's a non-committal answer.
I noticed. Thank you, Gray Man. Thank you so much. I think, well, Steve graces us with his presence and answers a lot of antenna questions. And it might be fun if we just did like a hot ham radio. Here are what people are assembling, common POTA assemblies, all that other stuff, and just have like Steve critique them a little bit. Like, how can we improve on that and make it more efficient? I think that might be fun. Think about it, Steve.
Okay, I'll give that a thought. Sure.
Yeah, think about it. All right, I am going to head out of here. I appreciate y'all, and thank you for hanging out, but I got to go. So, 73. Thank you, everybody on the Discord. Take it easy.
See ya on Thursday, Josh.
Later, fellas.
Oh, yeah, see you on literally. We're going to see each other soon. All right. See ya, man. Take it easy. All right, I'm out of here. I got to go. I think I got to watch a movie to get ready for the podcast, which we're probably not shooting this week because I'm going to be in Orlando, but we'll figure something out. 73, everybody. Appreciate you. Steve is approaching ward level. I like it.